3, 2, 1. We are live. Welcome and thank you to everyone joining us for an evening with Inside Enduro's live podcast. Please like and subscribe and share if you're down with what's going on. Tonight we are brought to you by Inside Enduro Media. Check us out. Follow us at Inside Enduro on Instagram and Facebook. You can also catch us on his website at insideenduro.com. Today, please welcome Max Gerston, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy in the black cowboy hat. Yeah. Max, how you doing?
Doing great, man. So stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. We've been talking about it for a while.
I know it.
And here we are.
I know. It's great. And it's even that much better because we just got done riding trials. So.
You call it trials. I call it like simulated falling.
Like crashing? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's controlled crashing most of the time.
I love trials. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's, you don't realize, obviously, how many different things you guys do to cross-train.
Yeah.
And seeing the trial skills is awesome. I remember we actually went out to a trials event. It was my first one ever.
Yeah.
And I ran the full morning sportsman's class, and that was challenging.
Yeah.
It was an eye-opener.
Oh, yeah.
Shit that looked easy, fucked me.
Wasn't easy. No.
And then in the evening or afternoon, you guys came out, and I think I did club, which is the bottom of the...
As low as you can go.
As low as you can go with the good guys.
Right.
And you guys were running expert.
Yeah. Was this out at Superior?
That was Globe.
I wasn't at that one, I don't think.
No, you were there at Globe. It was Taylor, Mike Dam.
Just this year, right?
Yeah, just this year.
Okay, yeah, I was there.
Well, you fucking zeroed it.
I zeroed the whole day.
Someone said you zeroed it.
I did.
I go, bullshit.
I did. I really did.
Bullshit.
I really did.
I know you did.
It was hard, though. And the craziest part was, compared to the stuff that we go practice, a lot of those sections were, maybe half as hard as a section like that we would make.
Yeah.
And they were so hard just because, the pressure's on. You go into the little section. You have to be, so focused. You're breathing. Should I breathe? Should I not breathe? Should I look ahead? Should I look close? What do I do? Next thing you know, you're, changing up your game plan. You're, don't know how to ride. Typical, racing stuff. But, yeah, it was a fun day. I love it.
So when did it get to you, during the day? Because for people who don't know, I'm new to this. With the trials competition, each round, at least the way I understand it, this one had 8 different sections.
Yeah.
And they were spread over a few miles. And you have to hit each section 3 times.
Yep.
And you can't do them consecutively. You have to go through the round, then come back and do another round. And you can start anywhere, but you have to do them in rounds.
Right.
So when did it get to the point where you were kind of thinking, shit, man, I haven't put my foot down once, and I'm 15 sessions in.
Yeah.
Did the pressure build?
Totally, dude. It totally started building. And, it was weird. It was after maybe, 3 sections into the first round. And I was thinking, dude, I haven't dabbed yet. And, I didn't even actually think it, but it was just starting to, float to the back of my brain. And then after the first round, when I cleaned them all, I'm when I did the first 8 sections clean, and I had to go do those same 8 sections again clean, I'm dude, if I don't do that again, I'm just going to be mad at myself because I know that I can do it, and I want to go backwards, So I'm I was just trying not to think about it, really. And then on the last round, and maybe 3 or 4 sections before the finish, I was dude, I even said to Mike, damn, dude, you think I go clean all day? He's no, because you just said that. I'm oh, fuck. You're probably right. So I'm all right, well, let's just pretend I never said that. So I just kind of tried to force that down a little bit, push that back, and then I just tried to stay focused.
Well, dude, and it's hard to stay in the zone when you got heavy hitters like Taylor Robert and Mike Dam rolling with you, and it's just I'm one for, I get tense easy.
Yeah.
And when I get tense,
I can't tell. Look at you, dude. Yeah.
I get tense and shit just goes bad.
Yeah, I know.
I got to get in the flow.
It's hard not to get tense. That's the hardest part about trials is not getting tense and just allowing yourself to do what you know how to do.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part.
Well, and that's where I get down on myself the most is whether it's riding or race or whatever, if I know what let's say my average riding skill is that I typically ride at, if I go and do an event and because of being tight or whatever, and I ride at 60% or 50% of not like what I wish I could ride like just what I ride at.
Right.
It really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because you've let yourself down. You've let your nerves and you've let that shit overcome everything that you've worked on. And it's a loss. To me, it's a huge loss.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I was just talking with somebody the other day about that. And I'm like, honestly, I think one thing that separates a lot of the really, really, really good, like successful racers from like even really good racers that are always just there, that never quite like reach their potential is like, you either go one or the other way. Like some people, when they go to a race, they get better. Something happens where you race and you show up, and next thing you know, you're doing stuff that you couldn't do before, or you're sending stuff, or you're doing jumps and you're scrubbing and you're hitting turns and you're going faster, whatever it is. And it's really hard to do that. But some people go like you just said, it's hard. It's a struggle just to ride 60% of your average, or even 80% of your average riding skills. So, you know, that's the hard part is being able to tap in.
That's the key. And I think I said this on a prior episode. I saw an interview with Chad Reed.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it. And he said, I've practiced with some amazing people that they can go out while practicing and lay it down.
Right.
And their lap times
Totally.
are incredible. You know, and he's kind of full of himself sometimes.
Yeah.
But he goes, I've never been paid for practicing.
No.
I've been paid for winning.
Yep.
And when the gate drops and the crowd's there, that's when I take care of business. And I step up.
And it's a whole new game right there too.
So he's a performer.
Yeah.
And I
it's
think
absolutely right.
That's the apex of the guys that practice, and when they show up for game day or race day, whatever sport it is, they're running at 100% of their own. Not like not some false like, hey, I wish I was somebody else.
Right.
But they're running at their full potential.
Yep.
Because you can pretty much be guaranteed that most of the rest of the field is not running at the 100% of their own potential.
It's scary to think about. It's so gnarly.
And that's really changed. I feel like I'm getting into the riding. Now I'm starting to get into the Zen, Bodhi, surf guard shit.
Well, more so than anything, I think that is a testament as to like how important mental strength is in this game of motorcycle racing, or just performing. Not even just racing motorcycles, but like performing, like, you know, hitting that presentation, hitting your lines in a race, hitting your lap times, hitting your lines on a trials bike, whatever it is. Being able to perform at your 100 is much harder than most people think, and the people that can
crush it.
Yep.
And it seems so damn easy.
I know.
It seems like it should be easy because all you're asking, right, is that, and that's all of you out there, that how you ride typically, just like take an average of how you ride every day, that you can show up and all of a sudden, when it matters, that all we ask of you is that you ride at your skill level.
As good as you are in practice.
Yeah. Not stepping it up and trying to be super guy.
I know.
Because I've learned the lesson. I kind of came up with a saying. You're only as fast as you are.
Yeah, you can't fake it.
The second you try to be faster than you are, and usually bad things happen.
Kinda. But you got to try to be faster to get faster too. So it's like
sometimes
you're kind of like always trying to find this.
See, but then, you know, you hear the generalizations of one of my favorite new ones is smooth is fast. And I've really delved into this. And I'm just peeling back the onion layers.
The layers.
Yes. And now I'm kind of in.
Okay, what layer are you down to?
I'm seeing the onion.
Where are you at?
So what I'm seeing is smooth. Everybody says it. So I've gone to the point, you know, when it comes to riding, I'm a fucking idiot a lot of the times.
You're a rugby player when it comes to riding.
Yeah. But, you know, if I can't carry it, break it, smash it,
right,
I got to come up with another option.
You got to like come up with some new ideas. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah, this isn't for me. When I show
Right.
up to the gym and they're like, "You're working out," and they're like, "Yeah, what are you? Big meathead sports." And I'm like, "No, I'm riding dirt bikes."
Trials, dude.
Yeah, they're like, "You're kind of too big for that."
Right. Yeah. Seriously.
And yeah, you're right, but it's a challenge. I've done all the other stuff. Now I'm ready to try something new.
Oh yeah.
But so it's funny with the smooth. So in my mind, this sounds idiotic, but I've been riding along thinking, all right, be smooth, be smooth, be smooth. Telling myself that. What the fuck does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I mean, because smooth in definition is like the culmination of 10, 50, 100 goddamn things. And what makes you smooth is a different set of ingredients and mental preparedness and training than it is for me. So what makes you smooth, what calms you and makes you hit your marks and enter your turns and exit your turns and be on point, of what that means. Smooth isn't a term. Smooth is like this
State of mind.
thing.
Right.
It really is.
Well, that's true. But then if you go back to layer number 1 of the onion, you have what people call a smooth riding style. And we're just talking about where you're braking and where you're going and where you're getting on the gas. It's just literally really basic. Where you're shifting, where you're braking, and where you're getting on the gas and where you're going. And a smooth rider will be missing a lot of the choppy stuff, be getting on the gas earlier, missing the choppy stuff coming in and coming out, and braking in places where most people are not braking, and getting on the gas where most people are not getting on the gas. And that, if you can do that and do it well, is fast. And that's where smooth is fast comes from.
For sure. But again, to get to that smooth, to get all those things,
Yeah.
and it's like baking a cake.
Oh, dude.
And getting all the right mixtures together that you're tapering off, you're tapering on. There's so many intimate details. It's insane.
Dude,
it's almost drive you fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Especially
I've baked so many cakes. Dude, like, I have tried to figure it out. I mean, and the thing is, it's like running stairs. You never figure it out. You just get a little better. And you running stairs is always hard. You never get better at running stairs. You just get faster.
Yeah, and you fucking breathe harder.
You're right. Yeah, and you get more fit, and you're doing more stairs, and you're doing them faster. But you never get any better at running stairs. Well, same way with being smooth and riding motorcycles. You get faster, but it never. You're always like baking another cake. You're always trying to figure it out.
Dude, I like it. And I'm kind of falling into this. It's weird. It's the Zen, and it seems weird, fucked up. I don't know, maybe a little light in the loafers, but trying to relax and understand how to make all those things flow together, because now I'm starting to feel where I'm doing my lap times, and I've been working a lot of turn tracks.
Yeah.
And I've learned that from you guys.
Oh, yeah.
You guys hammer turn tracks.
Hammer turn tracks.
And it's funny because you see these turn tracks that are hidden around the place.
Yeah.
And most people stay the fuck off them.
Oh, they don't want anything to do
You know
with
why?
them.
Because they're fucking horrible.
They're not fun.
You get on it at first, you're like, oh, cool, a single track.
Yeah.
Then you like hit 3-4 corners, and you're just like, fuck this.
You're like,
I can't even stay on the single track.
It's like I'm getting the shit beat out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even stay in the track. So you almost have to get in a state of mind just to be able to navigate that.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously, someone like me, a monkey fucking a football half the time,
Right.
is you come in, if you apply too much harsh throttle too soon, it throws you out of shape.
Yeah.
And then you're having to doctor that.
Right.
And then you're doctoring it, and then you exit and you're out of shape. So what do? So you knew you fucked up the corner. So you give it more fucking gas in what I call the transfer.
Right.
Just to jack you up for the next turn.
Exactly.
Like you were just doubling down on fucking yourself up.
Yeah. And that's like riding dirt bike. That's like racing in general. Like one thing goes wrong and you start to snowball, And that's why I always say, like, I think you and I talked about this a long time ago. And it's like, it's honestly almost like with some extreme enduros, it's kind of like who can start their snowball the latest in the race, like because whatever any factor, anything that starts in a race, you crash. Now you get up and you're a little bit more tired. You're a little bit more tired and you make a couple extra mistakes. Those couple extra mistakes make you more tired. You can't make a couple more mistakes. Now you're breaking your bike again. It's like if you could start your snowball that much later than everybody else,
it's exponential.
It's so exponential.
And it's funny because everybody has obviously like a different program.
Yeah,
totally. As far as being guys that are smooth, guys that are natural or pseudo natural. It kind of bums me out because I hear that a lot, especially about some of the professional racers that I've got to know, that you hear, oh, they're a natural. They've been that way since the beginning.
I hate that.
And then I hear the backstories of
that person,
what they've gone through.
Yeah.
And maybe like what some of the maniacal shit their parents did to them, the bordering on child protective services.
Right.
To get them to get through their shit and go faster, et cetera, and maintain. You're like, no, dude. Actually, yes, there is talent involved. I get it. But they've been through the crucible.
Dude.
They've been through the training.
I have a perfect example for you. One of my good buddies, one of my great training partners, Taylor Robert. That dude's a savage on a motorcycle. You give that kid a football, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He can literally barely throw a football. And Taylor, if you listen to this, you're like, I love you, man. You're like one of my best buddies, but you got to learn how to shoot a basketball, dude. He can't even shoot a basketball. So I'm like, this is like, I see that kid shoot a basketball. I'm like, this is perfect inspiration for me. Because I'm like, if this dude could do it, then I can do it too. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have anything physically or, like, he's just a regular dude that's just worked his ass off. I mean, that kid works really hard. And like you said, like, he's been through the gutter. I mean, he's gotten after it, and it's just that's where I find it. It's weird that I find inspiration in somebody not making a basketball basket, but
and that's why I try to, in riding with you guys a lot. I really check. I don't know how you guys. I really check my attitude at the door on purpose. I really do, because that's one of the things. Like, if you threw him a football, there's a good chance that I could kill him.
Right.
Like, I am a professional assassin at smashing, tackling, running.
You want to smash?
Yeah, balls, et cetera. Because I was Division I fullback.
Right.
College football. Like, we practice nonstop how to catch a football. You would have a tire rack where these tires are suspended in the air in a steel rack. So there's just little gaps. And you'd run in there sideways, and you were told to turn at a gap that's this wide. And someone has hucked a fucking football at full tilt. And by the time you turn, it's right in your face.
Oh, fuck.
So it's like automatic, like how to not only see it, slow it down visually and mentally.
Yeah.
And they used to cut with these fucking things.
What are those?
They called me Chaka. They're like, stone hands.
Stone hands.
So
man.
You had to get sensitive. So to catch a football, I couldn't just stick these things out there.
You couldn't just carne asada those bitches.
No, I had to literally, in a fraction of a second, slow it down. And the way that I do that, and the way I was taught, is you look at the nose of the football and the four seams that go out.
Right.
And by looking at that, it slows everything down. And you're talking everything's in a fraction of a second. And then when it comes into contact, that your fingers are so sensitive that you absorb it. You're not, because if you just stick them out, you're busting your fingers off. Because a dude's hucking at you.
That goes back to the old saying, aim small, miss small.
Yeah. So you do it all day long. So boom, 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 repetition, repetition.
Yeah.
And I grew up through that, so I understand it. So when I see the skills that you guys have, yeah, I'm impressed, but I'm not surprised.
Right.
Because
you see what we're doing, how often we're getting after it.
I've come, just through different sports.
Right.
And I understand it. And when you win, I've been fortunate enough to win a couple national championships, and I know that I didn't wake up and it just happened.
No, hell no.
It was planned. It was scripted, and shit can still go wrong.
Dude,
and,
that's what
and the work you put in, like, I know how you get there. So when I see you guys, believe me, I'm totally impressed.
It's all clicking. It's all making sense, though.
But I understand.
Yeah.
I understand where it came from, and I understand where it's going. And I know, you know, it's a very, very, it's kind of like this special ball, you know? I mean, it's like you're trying to keep it tight. You're trying not to let it fall.
Right. Dude, I'm telling you, racing motorcycles professionally as a career, as a job, I mean, it is so gnarly. And you know, I have people just don't get it. I mean, just like you said, people see you on the podium and they see, you know, Instagram posts or whatever. They see on the TV maybe, whatever. And it's like,
he can just do this.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, and they just don't know, but they might say something like, must be nice, must be fucking nice. It's like, yeah, it is fucking nice, dude. Like, I bust it. Like, I'm getting after it. And people are like, so you just race motorcycles for a living? That's all you do? Yeah. And they kind of like, well, how, you know, they don't just really just don't get it. And I tell people, like, I tell some people, I usually don't care to talk about it, but I usually tell them, like, look, dude, by the time I, like, get my training program, do what I need to do, practice what I need to practice, analyze the data that I've accumulated through heart rate and just, like, observing my own riding and everything else, and look at turn track times and look at this and look at that. Dude, it's a full-time job. I wish I had more time. Like today, what day is it? It's Thursday? I thought it was Monday yesterday, and we were driving back from somewhere yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, these weeks are just flying by, and I'm so busy. I don't even have time to clean the house. And I'm just training, riding, rested, doing whatever, and I'm just like, it's a full-time job. I wish I had more time to do more of it. And it's just like, that's what people don't see. They think I'm just like what, I don't know what they think. They think I'm just like sitting around like, oh, dude, let's go racing this weekend. And then like, I don't know what they think.
You know, you buy a case of beer,
right?
And you put it on ice and you ski in the cooler.
Yeah.
And off you go. You go fucking racing.
Off I go fucking racing.
No,
they have no idea the preparation and the sleepless nights and the early mornings that goes into it. Yeah, and it's pretty much every single night and every single morning.
It's hard to appreciate. I can't appreciate it twofold. I know what it takes to get to the top.
Yeah. I
know the commitment, the sacrifice.
Most people don't know because they've never been there.
And then on top of it, not only do I know that, I train with you animals, and I've got my own gym, workouts, high intensity, diet, dude, from intermittent fasting to my own formula of pseudo keto. I've got a, you know, somewhere along the way I picked up a degree in sports medicine. So
shit, you're getting it all in. Getting it all in, dude.
So I've got a little bit of knowledge, you know. Yeah. So knocking out trials riding, 4-stroke turn track riding,
right,
2-stroke hard enduro riding.
Yep.
I forget, did I say trials?
No, not yet. Trials.
Getting the meat taken off my body on a trials bike.
Yeah.
Which you've witnessed some of that.
Yeah.
It's a progression.
Yeah, it's all right. You got a little too much meat on you anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, we do the Inside Enduro, we do the podcast. I have to do some other things, you know, to keep solvent with some cash.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, you're right. People don't get it.
Yeah.
My alarm's set at 5:30 in the morning. I am up to the gym, training, etc. Before I know it, it's 9, 10 o'clock. I don't watch the news. I don't watch fucking TV.
No.
I don't hang out. And I'm trying to like kind of keep this somewhat the schedule that you guys keep.
Yeah. No, and that's awesome.
It's fucking exhausting.
Yeah. I think are you really exhausted? It is exhausting compared to like other stuff that you've done. I mean, you've got an Australian rugby title. That's pretty legit. What does a training program for them look like compared to us? And not obviously it's completely two different sports, two different directions with the training and all that. But like work for work, what's it like comparatively?
It's different. The rugby and football, from Division I college football to international rugby to the powerlifting 1994, I won the NCAA national championship for the 242-pound class, powerlifting. It's different. It's more physical in a way because you're being in subsequent car wrecks a day.
Beating the shit out of yourself.
You're beating the shit. So you have to physio, ice, therapy. It's like you're always
repairing,
semi-injured.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're beat up.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you get totally beat up in the off-road racing. And I know this, I've kind of categorized a race that I try to stay away from. Super fast off-road racing.
Like a hare and hounds or something?
Well, some of them, put it this way, the ones that are so choppy that when I get done, I feel like I need a fucking kidney transplant.
Yeah.
Like
your innards are shaking.
It takes me 3 days for my shit to like turn back into normal organs.
Like grow back together.
Yeah. So when I look at the output for the physical stress, it's more in the way of being physically battering. If you're not a specimen that can take a fucking beating continually by other people and multiple people, you don't last.
This isn't football, rugby.
Both. You just fold.
Right.
I mean, you have to be straight. I mean, it is. It's like, it's simulated car crashes, simulated war to take those hits.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know, maybe it's the time finding on the dirt bike scene is a lot of ways more difficult because it is also extremely, extremely physically demanding.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And obviously, you've seen my skills, but I've actually achieved some pretty crazy shit for racing for a few years, seriously.
Right.
And most of it's because of those other sports that I don't give up.
Yeah, you know.
I'm strong, mentally tough.
Stubborn.
You
gotta be stubborn.
And at some times, I have some skills.
Right.
That they show up on race day, hopefully.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
if you can get that 100% of your own potential, or 90 maybe, whatever.
And that's what was killing me because when I first started this, I can't tell you, and I think it's great. I still remember this, and people have their opinions, but it was 6-7 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I saw an editorial from Jimmy Lewis.
Yeah, Jimmy.
And he had a list, and I know Jimmy. I've done the King of Motos a couple times, and he's always been a good dude to me. He had an article, and it had a bucket list of things to do on a dirt bike, and I was interested. I've always liked dirt bikes. Again, I think that's just the difference as kids grow up. Like, it's funny. You go to Romania, and you're riding down some crazy backwoods place, and you see a kid, and it makes you wonder if he's ever even seen a motorcycle before. Yeah. Because it's so
out there,
semi-primitive.
Right.
He knows how to do this as you go by.
No way.
Yeah. And not this wrist.
The right one.
The right one. I mean.
How do you know that, kid?
How do you know? I mean.
Dirt bikes is the greatest thing on earth.
A kid sees a dirt bike? How's that not cool? I mean, it's like seeing a fire truck or whatever. You're like.
That's like the only problem with America right now is like dirt bikes aren't as cool as they should be. We're like the bad guys.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know, man.
I mean, not to put you on the spot.
No, I don't know why we've been made out to be the bad guys. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like me and all my buddies, we're good dudes. Like I've seen a lot of us do some really good things, like in the community and stuff like that. And like that's one of my a little bit of a platform that I've built, for myself with my racing and stuff. One thing that I think is really important is to set a good example for the kids. Hang out with the kids at the races, give them high fives, and kind of show them like what it's all about, or like at least what my take on what it's all about is about. And it's not about money. It's not about not getting hurt, because a lot of people just don't want to get hurt or whatever. And it's more so about for me, motorcycles, like, well, for me growing up, motorcycles, like when I was a kid, I was kind of a troubled child. Like, I, I was like a little terrorist. Like, I was bad. Like, I was not like the best kid. And, my parents, I got a motorcycle when I was 5. And to be honest, like with you, even to this day, like riding and racing a motorcycle is like one of the only things that's ever made sense to me. Like, and that sounds really weird and like kind of crazy or whatever, but like I don't know a lot that's like made sense to me as far as like what most people do, like people will say like that know me in high school or whatever, like, dude, you're always good at racing. I'm glad it worked out for you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, me too, because nothing else fucking made any sense to me. I was just doing the only thing that I cared about, that it made sense. And I don't know I don't know what it was. And I don't know if there could have been something that could have been in place of a motorcycle, But I have no idea, but I'm glad I got them. And for me, like, if I didn't have that thing, riding a motorcycle, and for the kids nowadays, like, I don't care what it is. If it's football, if it's baseball, if it's riding a motorcycle, if it's mountain biking, jet ski, whatever, you got to have that thing, because that's the only reason why, like, I am who I am and where I am, like, is because I had my thing. I had something to focus on. I had something to base my decisions off of, and all that. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it,
It's an interesting setup because, again, on the surface, it seems too simple. And I find this more and more often. We as humans, as a society, we love to simplify shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it makes sense to us. Like, it's black, it's white. It's right or wrong. Whatever.
It's easy, it's hard.
And on the surface, you say, hey, motorcycles are the only thing that made sense to me, so that's what I stuck with, and that's what I did. However, on the surface, that's very simple. But it's not that, because you've doubled down, you've tripled down from your diet to your training to your full commitment.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I've had other business interests that have worked out, and it's worked out because of those exact same things. So I would be pretty confident in saying that if you took the same attitude and the same commitment and put it to anything, you would have been successful. Same shit.
Well, that's the thing. I'd like
it
to
just
think
it
so
just
too.
It just didn't show up.
Right. I didn't have another thing to do. Right. But
yeah, but why?
But
I look at
another thing before I forget that you said right there is like where I've doubled down. Like when I'm a kid and I'm younger, like when I mean younger, like maybe below 18 years old, when you still don't know anything, Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing. I went to high school, obviously, graduated high school. Whew, that was close. Got out of that clean. And, I've been working since I was 14, 15 years old. I've had 2 jobs, if not 3 jobs, ever since I was like 16 years old, my whole life. And I started when I was maybe 19 or 20. I went to college for a couple of semesters, but that didn't work out just because by then I had started my business. I had a pool service company, Max Pool Care. And I started my pool company, and I did. I worked really hard at that, and that was really great for me. But that's why I kind of pulled out of school, because I had other stuff. I'm like, dude, I can make money doing this,
Hey, it worked for Steve Jobs.
Did he start a pool service company?
No, but he went to school for 1 quarter, not even a semester.
And a lot of people take pride in like not going to school or whatever. I don't really care. It's just kind of what it's not like I had this major like conscious decision like I'm not going to school and I'm going to be a billionaire. I've heard some people say that. It's like, dude, it's noon and you just woke up. Like, you already fucked up, dude. You better go back. You better get to work right now. But
you need to clean out your bong water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like I've always worked really, 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 really hard. I've worked at, it's funny, like we drive around town, I'm like, oh, I worked there. I worked at Discount Tire for a couple of years. I worked here. I was a mechanic, a motorcycle mechanic. I was a suspension technician. Some of the greatest years of my life. I don't regret a single second of it, but I had to work for it. It's not like I just had like,
Yeah.
I never had, I never, and there's so many times I had to like either quit or I got fired because it was like, dude, it's either dirt bikes or this company. I'm like, well, I don't really care about this company, so see you later. And, I passed up a lot of good opportunities along the way, but only because whatever that was didn't make sense and I didn't know why. But doing whatever I was doing made sense. So for me, I always just kept doing what made sense, which was riding dirt bikes,
Yeah.
racing.
It's, again, I think it's too simple to say it worked out. I don't like to say that.
No.
We need to come with a different term.
I don't know what that means. It worked out.
It worked out. Like, you woke up and it was there.
Right. Like, it worked out because, like, I'm still alive. Like, what do you mean by that, right? You don't even know what I got.
It's obviously, a lot of things, unfortunately, are simplified. And that is one thing that I've definitely come to appreciate as I've gotten a bit older, is that things are fucking complicated.
Yeah.
They really are.
I
I don't care if you're looking at the news, what's going on.
I know. The older I get, the more I think into shit too.
It's
weird.
more gray.
It's
like,
yeah.
you have to let some shit go because there's a lot of gray out there.
Yeah, you can't let it eat you up. But like, it's funny they said it because it's almost like everything I see and hear is like you got to take it with a grain of salt, and it's like, why? Why do I think of it like that? I don't know.
I think it's more of a tablespoon of salt now because it's gotten so jacked up. Jacked.
You know what I did recently, dude? I got rid of Instagram and Facebook off my phone. I still have like my account.
Your accounts.
Yeah.
But it's not banging at you.
It's not banging at me, dude. And like I found myself like wasting time. And then like I've kind of like came to the conclusion, like I've never gone on Instagram and gotten off of it and felt better after I got off of it than before I got on it. Like I've never been like, oh wow, that was great. I was always like, whatever, keep going with my day. Just wasted fucking 5 minutes. Great, or whatever it is. And I'm like, it's almost like I hated something like being able to do that to me. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this, and that's beside from my problems with social media, which maybe we'll get into in a minute. But like, I was just like, screw it, dude. Like, I don't want this distraction. I don't want this BS in my life. And I've gotten so much more done, dude. It's crazy.
Right on. I can appreciate it. I'm a little bit newer to it because
Instagram and all that.
All of it. I literally got an Instagram account maybe a year ago.
Yeah, you're like a barbaric motherfucker.
A year and a half ago. Well,
Yeah.
I lived in Montana, and
They don't have internet up there.
No, not much.
Yeah.
And actually, we have better internet there than we have here.
Yeah, I figured.
Because all your internet
Doesn't take
towers
much.
are in fucking cactuses. You see all the fake RoboCop cactuses?
Yeah, not fooling me.
They don't work that well.
No.
We have shitty cell phone service.
It's because of all the fake cactus foam they got around the fucking place.
I wonder if you could like keep beer in there and keep it cold when it gets hot.
Probably could.
So hollow those things out
Yeah.
and fill them with ice.
Oh, I'm sure they're already hollow. They don't do nothing.
But Montana, we kill a lot of critters. We do a lot of hunting. So
Yeah.
I really didn't feel a need for Instagram.
Yeah, it's like silly.
And the only reason we got Instagram and Facebook was essentially not gonna believe this, but I wrote a children's book.
What?
Oh yeah, it's on Amazon, Walmart, National.
You wrote a children's book?
Yeah, hard copy.
What's it called?
Sam's Big Deer.
Sam's Big Deer.
Yeah, anybody who's interested, great read for kids that are like 1. Read it to them, show them the pictures.
That might be a great read for me, dude.
To like 8.
Yeah.
To like 8.
I'm in that category.
And I've written a second one actually on more of an elk archery, and that one it's done, but we haven't put it into print yet. But so we're doing all these things. So I set up Facebook for that for the book.
Oh yeah.
And then kind of got on it, and then of course, since I'm so late getting on it, all the guys like your age are like, that's retarded. Why are you on Facebook? No one uses Facebook. All we do is post on Instagram and it goes straight to Facebook. I was like, man, I just showed up to the party. I guess I'm late.
Right. Yeah.
So now I'm on Instagram trying to do the Inside Enduro stuff, building that up.
It's kind of like a new game, you know.
It is.
It's like a perfect example of like kind of having to get with the times, but at the same time, you're almost forced to conform, and that's where I have a problem with it. Like, I don't want to just conform because I got to get with the times, you know. I don't want to like change my program up. Like, I'm a good dude. That's not going to change whether I have an Instagram or not. Whatever, you know.
Well, I agree. If you get to the point, and I'm not where you are as far as, you know, followers and interactions, because I know for the limited amount of followers that we have, and they're great. That is one thing that's been cool, and maybe I'm not as jaded because I'm pretty fresh to it, and I don't have as many. But even what I have, it's freaking crazy when you're getting, you know, hundreds of likes a day.
You have like actual followers.
Yeah.
You don't have a bunch of bullshit follower, like fake shit.
No, and I reply to them because, you know,
Yeah.
I had one this morning where the guy's like, hey, that was cool. Thank you. And I post back to him.
Right.
And I hope to keep that up. But
Oh yeah.
as long as people aren't full of shit and you know that they have interest, I'm down with sharing, because part of me with this is I try to appreciate it all. You know, I see what you guys are doing. I see what the local guys who are out working their asses off, busting trails, clearing trails, doing all that. It's all part of this society. And to me, in the big picture, everyone's equally important because it makes the whole thing go around.
Right.
Yeah. And so because of that, being kind of a newbie, I've stuck with it. I could definitely see from your perspective, and I'm sure it'll get there at a point for me as well, where you have to make some decisions. Right now, I love the people that we have, and I do my best to respond. If it gets to a point where, and I'm not paying someone to do it.
Yeah.
You know, some people get to a point and they pay a team to respond. And man, I give it to, you know, the props to the guys who do their best to stay on top of it. But I got to be honest, if you're a professional athlete and you're a current athlete and it's distracting from your overall performance and your time and getting things done,
that's why I got rid of it right there. And
shit has to get cut.
Dude, like, God, it goes so deep with me. Like, I've peeled this layer. I peeled this onion back so many layers, dude. And, like, yeah, you got to do it, and you got to, you know, promote. And at this point, you know, like, even 10 years ago, it wasn't even really a factor in our careers, you know. Yeah. But now you kind of got to get with the times, and you got to post stuff, and you got to be, you know, with your fans. You got whatever. You got to post stuff. You got to promote stuff. And I get it. But, like, kind of like the dark side to that, like the backstory behind that is like this fucking fake. It pushes along this idea somehow, like, I don't know. I've never seen so many fake people in my life than like right now. Like, I remember back in high school, like, it wasn't like that at all. Like, you were who you were. And if you don't like me, then whatever. And if I don't like you, then whatever. But, like, I see so many people on Instagram and Facebook who make themselves look like somebody who they just fucking aren't. And I'm like, what, dude? Like, what's the purpose of that? I don't understand the purpose of that. And that's why I have a problem with, like, putting out, like, meaningless content that, like, doesn't even do anything for anybody. Yeah. You know, it's like, I don't know, dude. I'm messing it up, and I don't know what I'm trying to describe, but I just, like...
No, I get it. I think coming into it late and with a very developed shit filter that I come with, I glaze. I don't even bite. I glaze over it. I see it and I know what it is, but I don't even read into it because I literally glaze over. I don't even think about it, which is odd.
And then you know, like, I heard, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I heard about this show called Black Mirror, and there's this episode, and it kind of like, it goes through like these hypothetical societal situations that like are a far-fetched possibility. So like this one situation is like every person is judged off of their stars. So like after this interaction right now, you would go on and give me 1 through 5 stars. So like everybody's going around trying to be nice to everybody, whatever. And I was thinking about, I'm like, dog, we aren't that far away from that right now. Like, think how many people out there get excited from a like.
Yeah.
What is a like? A like or a comment, like that gets people excited, and studies have shown that it like actually triggers some sort of thing that like will make you happy, like in your brain.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just spitballing here, but I'm pretty sure a like isn't synonymous with an actual blowjob.
I don't think so either, because it hasn't. I haven't gotten 24,000 blowjobs.
You may not want any more after that.
I need a break. I need a rest.
A chamois.
Yeah.
Maybe some olive oil. I don't know.
I'm telling you, dude, it's the weirdest thing. And I'm like, it never made me happy. I don't really care, you know. I think social media is cool from the standpoint of like, I might be able to meet you. I might be able to find Inside Enduro and contact you and get together with you and go riding and do a podcast, and really cool. That is some cool stuff.
Well,
I like that.
And again,
and your fans can contact you. That's bitching. I as somebody that wants to do good, if a fan contacts me and says, hey, blah, 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 can I have a jersey? Or, hey, would you want to do a lesson? Or whatever it is. Hey, I met you at Enduro Cross. It was really nice to meet you. That's cool as shit. I would love to talk to those people. Hey,
it's
right
legit.
on, thanks.
And I think, again, with the good side and the bad side of social media, there's a lot of bad shit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it's overweighting it. But there
water it
is
down.
still some good shit.
Absolutely.
And I think most people are inherently good, typically.
I hope.
I'd like to believe that. But
Me too.
there's something I learned. I don't know, maybe you'll enjoy this, but it's helped color how I see things and how I interact with people. There's a old political study that was done years and years ago, and it's very simple. So you can call it the thirds, call it the 33.3333%, but it breaks down like this. A third of the people out there will never fucking like you. It doesn't matter what you do, how you placate, how many stars you give them.
Right.
They do not like you. They hate you. It's done. There's another third. They're the swing vote.
You go either way.
They go either way. They may or may not like you. And that's up to you.
Like, depends on their impression of you that
That's
day.
right. The last third will like you no matter what. You show up to Christmas dinner and you piss on the living room curtains, everyone's like, Max! And they cheer. You know,
oh my God, he's so funny.
He's so funny. Look, he's pissing on the curtains. That's our boy.
Right.
You know, and I simply look at it that way. So, and I think it's kind of a responsible, cool thing because honestly, because people get bent out of shape about in this perfect world where no one's feelings are hurt and all this bullshit. It's like that third, fuck them. Who cares? It's not worth wasting your time.
No,
What's important is you shoot for the 2/3. The people who like you reinforce that. The people that are
wishy-washy,
somewhat flexible to whether what you do or you don't do, that's the crowd you play to.
And that's where if I'm that middle third, right? If you're a person that I could like or could not like, I'm gonna base that off of like what I know about you. I'm not gonna base that off your social media.
Yeah.
Because I know because to me your social media means nothing.
Yeah.
You can look like anything you want on there, and you can portray any image that you want. But I know who you are, dude. I've seen people do shit, and it's like you're on Instagram, like you look like this great guy, or like you do something in front of a crowd just to look like a good person. And I really know who that person is. Like,
I know some people like that.
It's not working on me, dog. Like, I got you figured out. It's not working on me.
I know some people like that. You call the card and it doesn't go so well sometimes.
Yeah, that's see. I mean, maybe it's you.
What do you mean?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Then they just go into the bottom third bucket.
Right. Yeah. All right. Fuck it. See ya.
That's
no,
where you
I'm
go.
just kidding. But I don't even go there. Like, I don't even care. You know, I just like know. You know.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, I don't know.
It's difficult, and I think it's a huge discussion with everything. You know, who gets listened to, who gets censored, who doesn't get censored. There's a lot of Wild West shit going on.
Yeah.
And what's scary ass shit is you have CEOs and boards of directors and work groups working on the narrative of what's right and what's wrong in this country. And that's some scary shit, man. Some scary shit.
I feel like everybody should know what's right and what's wrong, like without having to like dive too deep into it.
To a point, but there is a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray area.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how I was raised too. Like my dad was Jewish. My mom was like, well, I guess I don't know what my mom was. She's regular. And
decaffeinated?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, standard. And I was kind of like, whatever. You know, I didn't have like a bar mitzvah or anything, but, and I was always we weren't like the church going family.
Yeah.
And I was always just raised, and these words were never spoken to me, but it was just like, you know what the right thing to do is. Do right. Do as to you. Do as to others as you would want them to do to you.
That's right. The golden rule, man.
Yeah, the golden rule.
Pretty simple.
And it's like that simplified things to the point where like I didn't feel like I needed any guidance on how to judge a right decision versus a wrong decision.
You know, honestly, I think that's simple enough. You know, and that's the funny thing, because things do get very complicated. But then again, you can always circle back and go, yeah, but it's pretty simple too.
Totally.
But if you dissect it and you let too many people fuck with it, it gets out of control, man.
Yeah, it goes off the rails.
Off the rails. It's crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
So, I mean, I don't know. I've been pretty I've been semi-vocal about my problem with social media. And I'm at this point where I don't know if I need to be more vocal about it or less vocal about it, or maybe just more selective with what I say about it. But I just hate seeing the problems that creates with our society. I mean, I'm like depression, or whatever, is that probably an all-time high. Yeah. I don't know. And you get off Instagram and it's a comparing thing. Yeah. All you do is go on there and you automatically compare yourself to other people somehow, or people compare themselves. And it's like, that doesn't do any good for anybody,
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
Well, there's some interesting stats behind that you may find interesting. It was a study that I read quite some time ago when I had involvement with another magazine. And when there was economic depressions or recessions, you could be guaranteed at the time that magazine sales go up and bar receipts at your local watering holes go up.
During a depression?
During a depression or recession. So no money or very little money available. People buy more magazines and people go to the bar more.
What?
Yeah. But you think about it. If you can't swing the Cancun trip, if you can't swing this trip, you can't do this, you can't do that, well, you can kind of water away your problems with alcohol or whatever.
I guess.
And then same with the magazine. So if you can't go on the trip, well, you buy the leisure magazine showing the pictures going on the trip. People are fucking weird. That's how we operate. Humans are weird.
Dude.
Humans are weird. Because if it's like the Instagram you're saying. If you can't go and do it, well, what's the next best thing?
I'm going to go on Instagram and check it out. Yeah.
Pretend.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, this is what I'm up to.
Yeah, my favorite one is like the inspirational quotes on there. Like when someone posts a stupid ass picture and it's like they're not even like they're not really somebody to give an inspirational quote. And it's like they post like super inspirational quotes with like a picture of them doing something. It's like, dog, that was a photo shoot that you took for no reason. You weren't even actually working out in that picture. You know what I mean? Like you weren't even doing anything. And you're going to try to give inspirational quotes. You haven't made it. You haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Why don't you go work for real? Why don't you get up? Why don't you get after it? Why don't you hit those sprints?
It looks like your chest has been just freshly sprayed with glycerin. Why is that?
Yeah, why are you all shiny, dude?
Yeah, it's gotten out of control. It'll be interesting even in the next few 3, 4, 5 years to see where it goes. And I can see kind of where, if people don't understand, I can see where your heat comes from, because so many organizations are really pushing. I think there's even some race series this year that to be in the points, you have to provide a certain amount of
to get the payout,
some payout for social media production.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's a sign. It's a sign of the times. But
I kind of have a problem with that. But like, they're kind of just playing the game.
Yeah.
So it's like I was saying, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
So it's like I more so hate the game than I hate the player.
Well, and I can't bitch either, because we're sitting here doing a podcast and we're trying to reach people.
And that's a great way to reach people.
And we're trying to provide interest. So I could say in a way, hey, I'm projecting a type of social media, which I am.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. This came from, a passion and a desire to share. I don't know where exactly it goes, but we're here.
We're here. Yeah. And like I said, I don't have any issue at all with any of that side of things, like promoting good stuff. But like, it's just that dark side, there is a hidden dark side that I have a problem with.
And that's like, I don't think that falls on you at all, because I think it's widely understood. There's a lot of sour shit going on.
A lot of sour shit.
For example, there's the huge debate, which I don't do Twitter.
I don't do it either.
And the reason I've never signed up, I've never had a Twitter account.
No, me neither.
And the reason, I guess I got to owe it to probably Joe Rogan's podcast, because they talk so much shit about Twitter and the crappy stuff that it does.
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't signed up for it yet, so why the fuck would I want to sign up?
It's like, I don't need
for that headache.
I don't need that in my life.
Yeah. It just seems weird that you can have a platform where people can be anonymous and call out death threats and do all sorts of crazy shit.
Right.
And have there's no responsibility.
No repercussions for it.
I can send death threats. I can do horrible shit. I can say horrible shit.
Just even, how about the people that have this false sense of security and are like keyboard warriors on Instagram, like comment on your shit, like whatever they have to say. It's like, what? I can't. It's like these people have the audacity to like talk shit.
Yeah. I think there should be, I don't know how you do it, but maybe you could do a heart rate stress test on them, that they wear a device that you have to see, because obviously if you're at a certain fitness level, that you have a certain set of parameters on just like your resting heart rate.
Yeah.
And we know that, you're a sedentary piece of shit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or like, what if my favorite thing would be if there's a way to like magically make that person appear in front of you. And like, okay, say it now. Say it now, dude. You're right here. Isn't that
what they make punching bags for?
Yeah, well, they don't make, but you can't I want the actual person there.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, but whatever. You know what? I try not to like get too caught up. And honestly, like, since I deleted the app from my phone, I've been like more clear-headed.
Yeah.
More focused, more clear-headed. And I just don't really do well with distractions anyway. I don't like them, and I don't handle them well. So it's like, I'm the kind of guy, it's like, if it doesn't, I always just think of it on a basic level. Like, if it doesn't do anything for me, then I'm just not gonna acknowledge it. Like, or if somebody's like, hey, do you want a drink, or do you want a beer or something? Before I say yes or no, I think about like, how do I feel right now? I actually feel pretty good right now. No, I'm all right. I'm cool. I'm good. I'm happy. Not that I'm against having a drink, but I just try to like be a little bit more in touch with how I feel.
And again, everybody has a certain level of bandwidth, and anything else that distracts from that, etc. Like, if your plate is full, your plate is full.
Yeah.
And if you have a full schedule and you see yourself taking a 75-minute shit,
right,
because you're looking at your social media accounts and
wasting time.
Yeah, usually it's a drop and run.
Delete.
Yeah, I don't take my phone into the bathroom usually.
That's smart.
But I have before, and I felt pretty dirty about it.
Yeah, you killed like an hour and a half. You're like, oh fuck.
I wonder if anyone's dropped a phone in the toilet. It has to happen.
I did once, but I was pissed. I got lucky, and I like, pulled it out so fast I didn't even realize what I did. I was like, ugh. And then I washed it out of the sink for 45 minutes, and then I wrecked the phone for good.
Oh, dude, that was the 3-second rule. You're in sterile anyways, so it was cool.
I didn't even think it. I grabbed that thing so fast, I don't even think it touched the water. I was just like, bah!
That reminds me of like one of those old kung fu movies where the old dude's like super fast. You know, he catches the fly.
Yeah.
Catching the cell phone out of the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like so quick. Like, does it have urine on it? I don't even know. I don't
Drip.
even know.
You failed.
That's awesome shit. So
stuff.
like, you know, when you're doing everything, like what's some other I think you get into making knives, collecting knives. Is that something to like calm you down maybe, or just another interest?
You know, it's funny that you say that. I started making knives like a long time ago, like when I was a kid, maybe when I was like 15, 16, 18. And I actually started a little business. I was making knives. They were called Max Edge knives, and they're badass knives, dude. Like they're legit. The ones that are still out there are really, really nice. And even the one I have some blanks at my crib still that are like still really bitching. And around that same time, I started my pool service company, and that was started because kind of an opportunity, and timing wise, it didn't work out. So I'm like, I was making more money cleaning pools than I was selling these custom knives that I was putting my heart into.
That's hard.
And I'm like, dude, I either need to do this different or give it up, focus on the pool thing, and do this later, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that was when I was living at my parents' crib. My dad had a big shop. So, and then I moved out. I bought a house up in Desert Hills, and I built my Enduro cross track there and all that. So I kind of didn't have a way to do it. So I kind of threw some cold water on that. And I focused on building up my pool service company. Obviously, that was on the side from building up my racing career.
Yeah.
That was the primary focus, and I was doing pools also. So I haven't done much knife making yet, but it takes a lot of focus, a lot of hard work. I've thought about doing it again lately, but I would do it completely differently.
Yeah. So were you doing blanks, or were you actually forging the bastards?
I wasn't forging it.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons, like forging, from the research that I did, like pounding on a piece of metal didn't really make the metal any better.
Yeah.
It didn't make an actual better knife. It's cool shit. It'd make it look cool with the folds, like if you fold the metal, you make Damascus.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't like realistic. So I was buying like bar stock, you know, bars of like this high quality specialty steel, and basically cutting it out of that. And then I was like outsourcing the heat treating and some other stuff, and just making a knife out of that. So no, I wasn't forging, but
Gotcha. Like when you did handles and stuff, like wood type stuff, or
I would do wood, or like G10 was a big one, which is like this strange composite stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then I would make my own sheaths too out of this moldable plastic. It was actually really cool. I really enjoyed doing it. It was really satisfying, but it was weird having to let something go like that. And I'm like, I would get like somewhere between $400 and $600 for. I'm like, fuck. It's not even where I would have kept the thing for that. You know?
Well,
like,
that makes you a knife collector then.
I know. Well, I do like businesses, and I love that stuff. You know, you got to have something to focus on. So if I did it again, I would do it on a much bigger scale. I would buy some more equipment. I would have stuff cut out. I would hire it out. I would outsource as much as I could, and actually make stuff that would create income and, you know,
have some profit.
Yeah, and like
the new American way.
The new American way.
That's how you do
Get
things.
With the times.
Let's get with the times.
Right, exactly.
You outsource, you get your idea, you get your design, and have somebody else build it.
Yep.
It's worked for a lot of people.
I know. So I had that going for me, and then I don't know, I kind of faded out of that, and then last March of 2017, I sold my pool business.
Wow, so you kept that pretty current.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand is, you know, people are like, oh, I could never do that because of this, or I could never do that because of that. And it's like, no, you know, sometimes you do what you got to do to make shit work.
And that's what I was doing. And I was just doing it. I was just making it happen. And the pool service business wasn't about cleaning pools, man. It was about supporting myself, and that's what enabled me to be able to buy that house out in Desert Hills with some acreage, and I built a track. It's because I had a little bit of income from racing, a little bit of income from pooling it, And I bought myself a crib, dude. I mean, how much cooler than that can you get? I ran that business from that house for another 2-3 years, and then my career kind of caught up to where I wanted it to be, right? Where I've been working for it. Like I want it. Once it gets here, I'll sell the business. Yeah. And I got a contract, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with it. I'm out, selling it. I literally posted it the next day, and now I'm going to focus on racing. And like, I'm 27 years old, and this is the first time in my life I've actually been able to focus on racing like how I've wanted to.
Yeah.
And that's like, seems crazy.
Do you find that obviously, I mean, it may seem like a real simple question, but that is what drives even further your focus to keep on playing?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm really focused. And like, it's not about the money for me. I have like this desire to win, and I can't, I've tried to put a finger on it, but I don't know what it is. But all I know is it's the last thing I think about when I go to sleep, and it's the first thing I think about when I get up in the morning. And I just have this desire that just doesn't go away, and I want it, and I want to win. And when that gate drops, like there's a certain silence and a certain level of peace that comes with that. I've never been able to experience that anywhere else.
Yeah.
So
no, competition at the higher levels is amazing, and it's gone back and forth where I've discussed with people about competing, and I've heard it like, oh, no, it's got to be fun. It's all about the fun. You know, if you're not having the fun, then it's like it's not this or it's not that, and I get that. It has to be fun to a certain level to keep you involved. But from my experience, fun doesn't get the job done. There becomes the fun, and hopefully it's fun enough to keep the training and kind of keep that lighter side, that little bit of balance. But when it's time to execute,
you can take your little fun and throw it out the door.
Gloves are off.
Gloves are off, baby. Yeah, I mean,
fun doesn't get you through the.
Dude, honestly, for me, that's where the cross training comes in. That's what keeps everything fun for me. We have those days. We have a lot of those days where you go out and you put in the motos. It's 110 degrees out. We're in Arizona, but you got to get it in.
And for all of you that don't know, when these guys roll, it's timed.
Everything we do is timed.
Everything is timed
and recorded,
analyzed.
Yeah,
and it's serious. I'm not going to name names, but I saw someone get a little perturbed because somebody didn't have it down to either a 10th or 100th of a second. And they're kind of like, okay, you got to realize there's a line drawn across the trail where someone burned a tire across, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like we're talking about Swiss downhill racing timing. It's trying to do a good job, but it's that serious.
It's very serious.
It's splitting a half a second, and these guys are putting it out.
Yeah, and we'll get sideways about it in practice. Like that's how we're talking about practice.
Yeah.
And that's how like serious we take it. And it's not something we can help. It's not like I'm going to be serious today. We're just out there wanting it. We just want it. We want to get faster. We want to get better. And I'll tell you, I've experienced some disappointment in my day, but having a lap time that's like 10 seconds slower than your best lap time out of your local turn track, that's fucking some disappointment.
Not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. It's just not. Or like not being able to clean a trial section like that you have before. Yeah. That's just not acceptable. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that, but yeah, like everything is timed to record it. And a lot of that stuff, dude, is not fun. And that's why you got to have your fun days. Go out. Hey, dudes, it rained. Let's go out. Maybe we'll hit some motos, maybe not. But let's go throw some whips. Let's go ride some rocks. Let's go hit some stuff. Let's go put in a trail. Whatever. Yeah. Let's just keep it fun. Let's go out with no structure today. And that's really important because I like my program is super, super structured, like to the T, to the hour, to the heart rate. And that works for me. I like that. It works really well for me. Even though I'm kind of a crazy guy and people, I'm loud and I say bad words and I, you know what I mean? I'm like the crazy guy, wear a black cowboy hat, but when I'm doing business, when I'm working during the week, it's serious. I take it really seriously and I'm really structured. And it just goes back to the old saying, you know, treat it like a job, get paid like a job. Treat it like a hobby, get paid like a hobby.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to be close enough, you know, for a relatively short period of time to see the interactions and to see that it's business time and funny enough, I got checked by one of the guys where I had a disgraceful run in my mind. I knew it was disgraceful for my own time, and I was just not happy with it. And we had the finish line burned into the ground, and I kind of pulled up short and just filed in, ready to go for the next one. And someone you may know goes, and someone who's a lot smaller than I am looks at me and he goes, "Finish line's there, bro."
Yep.
And my response is basically in my mind, "Yes, sir," because he's fucking right. And I would never let up on the assault bike. I would never let up on the treadmill. I'd never let up on a HIIT workout to the last second. But here I am.
You just let up.
Pulling a bitch card. What the fuck?
What the fuck, dog?
Not acceptable.
You got to run it through.
So I tell you what, it ain't ever happen again.
You're right. Exactly.
So.
Yeah, and that just comes from like, you're probably learning with us too. You're kind of like, you don't know maybe how we operate. Yeah. So you go out there and you don't think that the times are the biggest deal, or you already threw away your time because you messed it up, right? So you get there like, whatever. And for us, we're like, you gonna cross the finish line, dude, or are you just gonna? Hey, I guess your time's still running. You didn't cross the line,
Because if you're not gonna cross the line, why don't you go and get us some fucking coffee?
Right? Yeah. we're fucking critical, dude. We definitely know how to take the fun out of everything.
Yeah. No, I get it, and that's unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it. I'm known for operating in the unfun zone. So when it comes to eviscerating, crushing, smashing,
breaking,
that's where it's at, and that's why I've gravitated to hard enduro, obviously.
Dude, hard enduro is sick. I love everything about extreme enduro, hard enduro, whatever you want to call it. I just love. It's the coolest sport, and what I really love about it is like kind of the origins of the sport and like what it's derived from, which is like extreme enduro has been made from people exploring, people going places that motorcycles haven't been before.
Yeah,
and that's what we do. We go out and practice. We go out. That's my fun. That's fun for me. You guys want to go find some stuff that hasn't been found before? You guys want to go put some motorcycles on top of mountains that haven't been motorcycled before? Go up some creeks? Let's do it. And that's what is so sick about it to me, is because it's made a competition and a sport and a race out of exploring, or that's what it's been derived from.
Yeah, it's adventure because
it's adventure.
I mean, the way I look at it, everything's been so subdued. And I've talked about it before, where you have kids Competitions, young kids. There's no first place, second place. Everyone's a participant. There's no winner.
Right.
In sports that are clearly designed, and from when we were kids, there were winners and losers. And that's how you figure it out. If you lost, well, if you didn't like it, you fucking better get better at it.
Right. That's the whole point.
And work at it.
Yeah.
If it didn't matter, it's just kind of like if crossing the line didn't matter, like, well, fuck, I'll go get a coffee and espresso. I'll meet you guys later.
Yeah.
At the truck.
Yeah. We'll hang out later.
You're like, who's this dick?
Right.
And, so you take that, and it's so important to figure that out, that there is a purpose, man.
A purpose.
There's a purpose for getting things done.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where it's at. And that hard enduro scene, so since that has been taken away from us, or we've let it be taken away from us.
What? Hard enduro?
Oh, no, like kids. Like
that mentality.
Like that mentality. So the schools have said, all right, I've seen it in wrestling. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like wrestling is essentially a combat sport.
It's fighting, dude.
So you put two kids, and at the end of the match, one kid knows that he bested the other kid. You don't need a score for that. Like, the kid knows.
Yeah.
It's like he either kicked some ass.
Yeah, or didn't. You're right. Or got his ass kicked.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And just because you don't have a score and you pretend that nobody lost, a kid in his mind knows what's going on.
Right.
So we've let that be taken away from children.
We've sealed it over.
Exactly.
Don't cross seal.
who are the new gladiators, adventurers, the Christopher Columbuses, the Lewis and Clarks, the outliers, the people who had it in their nature to voyage forward.
Right, fresh ground.
That's right. I mean, I don't think I'm qualified to make the NASA program, but I don't know when the last time they fucking went anywhere anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'd sign up for the Chinese one.
There's enough shit in Arizona to explore. I don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But again, that's part of that spirit, that pioneer spirit.
Yeah,
exploring
exactly.
spirit. And that's a cool thing. And unfortunately, that again is a war.
I know.
It's a war with, you're lucky in Arizona. I read the stats. Arizona has, I believe, 79% public land. So 79% is public, the rest is private. And you look at a state like Montana, which is the 4th biggest state in the union, huge state. It's 28% public land. That's
really?
it.
I thought it was more than that.
And it's massive. And you have 28%. The rest is private.
Was that Montana?
That's Montana. 28% private
Really?
land. Yeah. Quite small. But it's big. There's a
Million shitload of acres still, but
millions of acres. But still there's a big fight for it. And again, just like the social media warriors, etc., they're out impressing their views on a place they don't even live of what they want.
Right.
So they shut shit down. Continually gets shut down. And it's people who maybe in their lifetime they'll come out and go hiking somewhere and they want to see a fucking bear and a fucking wolf when they go take their once a year 5-mile hike.
Right.
Between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. where nothing's out anyways, and they never see shit. And so we should shut down the entire.
Oh, so you're saying like all the animals are gone?
Oh fuck yeah, they're basically your animals are bedded down on the north slope.
Spend a night in the woods, dude.
Exactly.
You'll find every one of them.
Yeah. They've never spent a night in the woods.
I almost got stuck out there the other night, this week.
I heard that you had the hit up. You asked me to come explore, which I'd never turned down, but I was in California.
Yeah, no, it probably ended up being a good thing to go there. It wasn't pretty, dude, and I just it rained and it was like I was just feeling it, and I was really excited to ride.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah, I was by myself, and right before I left, I threw my headlight on. You never know.
Yeah.
I threw my headlight on, and I halfway through the ride, I'm like, man, I'm glad I threw that thing on. And I got home in the dark, barely, because it was foggy and rainy and gnarly and kind of shitty. So, and I knew exactly where I was, but, there was a mountain here, and I thought it was another mountain, but I knew it was not that other mountain, because I'm like, I'm not there over there. And that
sounds like the beginning of getting lost.
Yeah, I was pretty much lost. But I've been trying to get up this massive mesa behind my house, to the north of me. It's called Black Mesa. It's so sick. So I've been trying to get up it, and I almost accidentally did it. So I got the closest I've gotten to getting up this fucking thing. And it was just from following my nose, and this was when the clouds were rolling in. I couldn't see anything. I just kept going up this wash. And next thing you know, I'm in this tight canyon wash thing. It's handlebar width, rocks, crazy shit. I'm busting through bushes, getting through stuff. And I look down at my watch, and it's sun's going down in 5 minutes. I'm like, ugh. That's the farthest away from the truck. I'm like, I still got time. So I keep going up this canyon, and it just gets to the point where it's just it's so overgrown, it's so crappy. It's dude, I gotta get out of here. So I turn around, I get out of this wash. It takes me 45 minutes just to get out of this thing. And I go up and around, and I got all jacked around, and I ended up, by now I flip my headlight on, and I just know which direction I'm heading. I know where I need to go, but I'm still 15 miles from home. So I rode from my house. So I eventually drop into the sand wash.
And this is a headlight, not a headlight.
It's a headlight on a motorcycle.
Oh, so you put it on a bike.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I drop into the sand wash. I'm like, this looks like it'll take. And I see a track. I'm like, that's my tire track. So I ended up following that all the way back home. But man, it was I had straight up come to terms with the fact I'm going to have to spend a night out here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be shitty because it was cold and I was wet. And I'm like, I'm going to make good friends with the Palo Verde tree tonight because I'm going to have to tuck it away because I don't have, and I'm like, it was a good reminder. I got to bring my survival gear. I got to bring a lighter at least,
Yeah.
But it was a close one, but it worked out. But
Yeah,
it wasn't good.
That's the adventure spirit. And there's something I used to do. Obviously, being from Montana, a lot of hunting, a lot of adventuring, and it's funny. There's two different kinds of people. Like the people who are, you're totally knackered, you're totally spent, but you're like, I don't give a fuck. I need to see what's on the next side of the next ridge, just in case something's there.
Yeah. But what's gonna be there?
And you get strung out, and then you're caught out because it's past dark, and now you're already tired.
You're out of food, out of snacks.
Yeah, and you have to power all the way back, or you spend the night. I've spent several nights in Alaska,
unexpected
BC,
ones.
Yeah, underneath, just a tarp if you're lucky. I had a buddy of mine, Clay Blackwell, Eastern Montana dude. We put up for the night, and all we had kind of was a tarp, and it's like, hey man, you don't mind just sleeping under this tarp? And we had my horses and mule, and we're in massive grizzly bear country. No people. And that's where they release all the problem bears out of Yellowstone Park. And we're in there. I had drawn a special elk tag unit, and we were doing some scouting. And beautiful night, September, and we're both laying underneath the same tarp, with our heads out, etc. And I'm just getting ready to go off to sleep. My buddy Clay goes, hey man, do you feel like a bear burrito?
Oh my God.
Because we're like sandwich.
A bearito?
Yeah, a bearito. I'm like, yeah, that's with it. Fortunately, we had a mule, and they go nuts.
A mule kicked the shit out of
well,
them.
a grizzly bear shows up, and the mule's there. He's gonna go for the grizzly bear.
What?
Oh yeah.
A mule go after a grizzly bear?
Well, you gotta think, and unfortunately, my mule Rufus, who we had a couple grizzly bears in camp over the last 10 years, and he's the one who woke us up and probably, put the bear off. But this mule, 17 hands, 1,300 pounds.
Oh my God, that's a big animal.
At the top of his big bunny rabbit ears, it's probably 7 feet tall. So he sees a grizzly bear, it looks like a fucking gopher,
like a little dog
marmot to him.
Yeah, but I thought grizzly bears were like 1,300 pounds.
No, they're not that big. No, a good grizzly bear in Montana, maybe 500, maybe 600. They're big, but they're not bigger than a mule. And unfortunately, Rufus up and died last week.
What?
Yeah, 15 years old. Got a call back from Montana from my family over there. Got sick. 2 days.
Dude.
Dead. Rufus is dead. We loved Rufus. Peace out, Rufus.
Thanks for all those grizzly bear scare-offs.
He was a great mule. We were really, I learned to pack on him.
I heard mules were like, they're like four-wheel drive, where horses are like only rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, their feet, they're big, but their hooves are half the size, and they're totally athletic.
They're like light on their feet.
Yeah, you typically won't see a mule fall over. They're like a cat.
Dude, I hate to cut you off. I gotta piss so bad.
Pause break. Well, one thing when you have a long podcast, or hell, anything over an hour, somebody has to take a leak.
Dude, I piss so much. It's like all the time. Like I just piss so much. I don't know. And they're like, for a while I thought I had a problem. And then I'm like, the way I determined I didn't have a problem was because like they're all huge pisses. Yeah. I'm like, no, I definitely actually had to piss right there.
No, I've wondered that too because as you get older, they talk about your prostate shit. Well, dude, you're 27.
I know, but still.
You wonder. But that's obviously, that's something you see with athletes. You train a lot, so you have to drink a lot, and therefore you piss a lot.
Exactly.
But I'm the same way. I wake up a lot of times 1 or 2 nights in the evening, and you think, well, hey, that's the old dude thing. But I piss like a gallon of water at a time. It's not like I'm sitting there for an hour going, okay, come on, just a drop. Just a drop from the pee-pee.
Right.
Just a drop. No, I'm in there, and it's like... and I'm like, oh, my God. This is what it is.
My girlfriend, BB, she's the greatest little thing ever. She's such a trooper. I don't know how she puts up with me, but I'll like wake up in the morning, and I always wake up, kind of get things going, and she gets up. And I'll get up, and I'll start pissing, and I'm pissing. And I'll get out of bed, like wake her up, like, hey, babe, I'll go start pissing. She'll fall back asleep. and then wake up later and I'm still pissing.
Was it another time? Like a second piss?
No, same piss.
It was the same piss.
Like a minute and a half later, she's like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on. I'm just pissing."
I gotta do is say, hey, I'm a performer.
Yeah, I'm good at this.
I'm good at this.
I got endurance. But yeah, I think we were talking about like just the backcountry and grizzly bears and animals, all that.
Yeah. Poor Rufus. But yeah, he died. Vet said, hey, we have a flat rate, $5,000 to cut him open and have a look at him. And he was 15 years old. He had some bad arthritis in his back right leg. And the vet actually said they should put him down anyways. But he was kind of, as mules, they're characters. They like to fuck off and they like to pretend. They're so smart.
Really?
So they wanted to put him down. And my mom asked, she's like, boy, we just don't want to put him down. But the vet says we need to put him down. I'm like, well, tell you what. See if he makes it through the night. Because knowing that fucker, he's like joking around. And then like the next day he's fine. So that night he gets up like he's fine. Gets up, goes off in the pasture, comes back, lays down, he's fucked again. And then in the morning he was screwed and that was it. And a buddy of mine, Wayne Thompson and Tad Tsukamoto, we learned to pack on him. Dude, we attached so much shit to him, like multiple bows and all sorts of stuff. And like, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Like I had read in a book of how to tie all the shit on and diamond hitches and all this. And he'd be going and shit would be off sideways.
He's just still going.
A horse would lose their shit. A horse would take off across the mountain and then you'd go on an Easter egg hunt for a month.
For all your shit.
Trying to find all your shit.
So, okay. This raises the question. Why do people have horses?
Just in general?
Yeah. A 1,300-pound animal with a brain the size of a golf ball.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Why not at least get a mule?
Dude, it's really okay. I thought you just meant livestock in general. So that's a great question. So I don't know if this answers it, but I'm going to give you some insight. So you go out and ride dirt bikes, right? And you go do hard enduro, you do whatever. And we get up, even at my level, we get into some crazy shit. We do some stuff that is legit.
Totally.
Scary shit with consequences.
We've been places like, I can honestly say, like, we've been places that nobody's been.
That's right. And you do some of these drops and the crazy stuff. But have you ever got back to the van and go, hey, nobody got killed? Or like, we're still functioning.
Yeah.
You get back to, you have?
Every time almost.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
Because, dude, I'll let you go with it, but maybe it's just because my perspective is jaded. So you go out with a pack string of horses and a mule into the gnarly backcountry with wolves, grizzly bears, and just like random wildlife that jumps out, whether it's a deer or an elk or who knows. And you're on an animal that weighs over 1,000 pounds, is so extremely strong, has a small brain,
tiny brain,
and there's no clutch, and there's no off button, and you're up 6 feet in the air.
That's a horrible idea.
And if you come off in rocks or whatever, you don't have a helmet on.
You're hurting, dude.
Yeah, things break. Like head split open, and you look at injuries from the medical profession that I was in. The amount of horse injuries, insane.
So why not just have a mule? They're better.
Far outweighs dirt bikes. Mules are better. They're a hell of a lot more expensive, too.
Maybe that's why.
They're multiple times more expensive than a horse, typically.
I like horses.
So every time we got done with the trip, particularly Wayne Thompson and I, we'd look at each other and like shake each other's hands as we're getting in a truck and go, fuck, we made it through another one.
Yeah, right.
You know, like alive. When I get back to the truck from a whatever gnarly dirt bike ride, yeah, we like maybe saw our lives flash in front of us a few times.
Yeah.
But I never felt that I was
in danger,
in complete uncontrollable peril.
See, I hate like
because you can make a decision on a bike whether you jump or don't jump, and if you jump and you messed up, it's kind of on you. a little bit because you chose to do it. On a horse, like maybe you didn't choose to do it.
You're kind of along for the ride.
It just took care of itself.
Yeah. See, maybe that's my problem because sometimes
have we found something deep here?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe the iceberg one of my problems, but like the only person that I know that will go out and will push the limits. Like Taylor and I will go out and push, and we push and push and we push each other and we push hard, and we can't help it. We don't have control of it. Almost the same way you're on the fucking horse that you can't stop. And it's not that bad, obviously, but more metaphorically. But
well, I've seen some of this shit. So
I mean,
I have a grasp.
we just have we just can't stop. And we've gone out on rides where we've done stuff and been places and kind of got back and kind of gave each other a look like, huh, maybe we should ease up next time. And guess what? Next time, doesn't ease up, goes the other way.
Game on.
Yeah. And it's not, and it's like, in some ways it's fueled by competitiveness between us, but in most ways it's not. See, because we want to do it for ourselves. It's a fulfilling thing that you just can't get it unless you just do it.
Yeah.
And it feels so good.
And I think it's just that you're right. And that's what's so interesting about the whole riding scene, and especially this inception and development and maturity of hard enduro, because even guys that are out who we rode with a group of guys from New York, and they showed up. It was kind of unexpected, and we took them out, and it was a basic trail ride, but for some it was a little more than they had bargained for, and that's what it's about. It's whatever your limits are, and you always have somebody who, you have usually the more proficient riders possibly, or maybe not. Maybe everyone's close to the same level, but you always have someone down at the lower part. And this guy's name, and I remember his name. His name's Freddie, because it's like Freddie got fingered, Freddie got fucked, because Freddie was fucking having a rough time.
Yeah.
But Freddie fucking soldiered through. And
that's what matters.
You could tell that he was not comfortable in a lot of the situations. So the shit he felt was probably similar to some of the things that you and I have felt.
Exactly.
It's just at a different level because his uncomfort level is just at a different level.
It's like running those stairs, baby. They never get any easier.
That's right. That's right.
So I think stairs you just get better at running stairs.
That's some of the excitement and drive of doing the hard, not even hard enduro, like adventure scene.
Exactly. You get I find the extreme enduro crowd, the guys that are into it, is this crowd of hard dudes. Even in regular off-road, these are professional athletes we're talking about here, and these dudes they're definitely hard dudes. They train hard, they work hard, they get after it. But I'm talking about hard in a different way. Wanting to explore, wanting to push, wanting to go out, and they have that drive to get to the top of that mountain for who God knows what. I've never gotten to the top of a mountain and been like, oh my God, it's all here. All the answers are here.
There's just another mountain.
I don't even need to go to the next mountain. Yeah. It's never been like that. And like you just said, at that point, hunger and tiredness and nothing matters. I just need to see what's around the next bend. Okay, and now what about the next bend? Because that bend didn't, whatever I'm looking for wasn't there. I better keep going because I need to find what I'm looking for. But I don't know what I'm fucking looking for. I'll let you know when I find it.
Maybe it's a forest gnome.
I'm like a squirrel trying to find a nut out there.
That's right.
And I haven't found it yet, and I don't know if I ever will. And that's the thing behind it. And that's what I like about Extreme Enduro is you have this group of guys that are a bunch of squirrels trying to find their nut.
That's right.
And nobody knows where it is, and we're just out, and we want to explore, and we will spend the night out there if we have to. We don't care. Seeing what's around that next corner is almost more important than my own well-being.
And that's where the suffering becomes important.
Most people don't want to suffer like that.
Because if you don't suffer, and it's just this, easy ride through the park. You don't remember shit.
What's the fun in that, dude? That sounds miserable.
It's not important.
That sounds like more of a suffer fest than the actual suffer.
That's right.
You know?
I have this place. It holds a special place in my heart. We all have a few of them, and
Yeah.
I've kind of come up with a saying that I've coined, and a lot of my friends have heard it. I don't know that you have, but at this point, but there becomes those points during time, and it kind of ties back into the social media program of about whether people are fake, not fake, happy, unhappy, whatever.
Right.
But I feel so fortunate that on a lot of these excursions, and it's not just with dirt bikes, it happens with hunting sometimes, and it'll happen even in a social setting with the right people, that I feel at this place and at this time, there's no other place that I would rather be. And that's what I find.
That's the saying.
Yeah, that's the saying.
At this place, at this time, there's nowhere I'd rather be.
Like, you're not thinking, oh, I wish I was on a fucking yacht. I wish I had
I never get that
$1 million. I wish I had this. I wish I was there.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like this.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like that.
Right?
I am there. And there is no doubt at that place and time,
I'm where I should be.
I'm where I should be. And there's no other place I'd rather be.
And
I search for that. And
Yeah.
I hit it all the time.
See.
Because I'm a lucky bastard, apparently.
Isn't that great? And some people would argue that that's a peace of mind thing. And or not a peace of, it's a state of mind.
It can
right?
be whatever anybody wants.
But my point is, it's not. It is, but it's not. Like, you gotta go get there. You gotta find it. You gotta let whatever's inside of you wanting to do whatever it is go. You gotta let that peacock fly.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I'll go out and I'll throw my helmet on and I'll just go. And I don't have a goal. Sometimes I just don't. Most of the time I have a goal. Sometimes I just go out and it's fun and I want to explore. And dude, I've come across some crazy shit out there.
Oh yeah.
We're talking Indian ruins, weird carvings, weird old shit that I'm like, I should probably I should probably just keep moving. Weird stuff, and that's so cool. Like, there's no better. I mean, I don't know. I can't describe it. I mean, and you know, a lot of people like get criticized. Like, I've gotten criticized. You know, like, why don't you do something safer? Why don't you have a safer career path or this or that or whatever? And it's like, you know, career aside, you know, this is who I am. Yeah. I'm never gonna. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
Work in a fucking cubicle?
Yeah, that's the 98% of the people out there would say that what I'm doing is crazy. Who I am is crazy, but what they're doing is crazier to me than what I am to them. That you're out there jumping your motorcycle and riding up stuff and doing this and doing that and blah 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 and riding jet skis and going mountain biking and running and killing yourself. I'm like, what do you do?
Till I die.
Till I die, dude. I'm like, well, I don't care about anything else.
Ah, then it's real.
I don't know. And it's like, I can't even, it's almost like when you're trying to, like, rationalize with an irrational person, which you're not in this situation, but that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just like, it's like, I'm looking at, I'm like, I'm on such a different thing than you. I don't even know where to start.
I just like to look at someone in the eye and I drop the term irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I just stop talking.
We're way past why.
It's like, irrelevant. All of your thoughts and concerns to me, irrelevant.
We're way past why. Sorry.
But the funny thing is, that's one of the beautiful things of dirt biking or getting really good at anything. Like, when you're on the bike, as you get better and you get faster, and people seem to always equate that with danger.
Yeah.
And there's always a point of danger. I get that. But there is no doubt, as I've developed myself and I've gotten faster, I've gotten safer in my mind. I ride safer. I'm in, people think like, oh, geez, you know, that guy's going fast enough. He's got to be out of control. It's like, no, I feel totally friggin' fine. Actually, with me, my sickness is I hold back.
Yeah, same here.
You know, I raced the National Hare and Hound, and I just did it just to get me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And
it was hard to let it fly.
Guys are like, bouncing off the rev limiter. And
Yeah.
dude, I got total respect because that takes a different gene
It does.
to do it. And that's not me. And I'm so tense. I'm like, yeah, I'm in like 5th gear and I got it 3/4-ish. And it's not like I'm riding over my head.
But you're just like,
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I know I'm tense.
Yeah.
And then the sick ass part about it is, as soon as you get into the rocks and the shit, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And then I'm pushing it through the stuff where everyone's all those guys that like burn by me in the sand, they're just, making taking a hatchet to it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm in something I trust.
Right.
Because I trust what I can see. I trust those rocks, loose rocks, because that's what I'm used to. But going Mach 5 against the desert, I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know if it's a gene thing. I have so much respect that guys that can manage that chaos.
Yeah, it's hard to do. And, the guys that are really, really good at it, that can win consistently, like Hare and Hounds or Dakar, whatever, any high-speed race, or honestly, any race at all, have a strange ability to stay focused for a long period of time. Yeah. And it's really weird for me because I've had like in school, whatever, ADD. Right?
Look, a baby squirrel.
Yeah, like like I was like the ADD kid. Like I was, like my mom took me to a doctor and everything because I was such a psycho. Which I love my mother. She's the greatest thing ever. But like take these pills. You're a psychopath. And it's like I couldn't focus on anything that I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like homework, dude. Don't even go there. Don't even go there. I would be sitting down trying to do homework, like at a young age. It's the weirdest thing. Like trying to do it. And I was just like, I'll go outside, grab a shovel, and I would start digging. I swear. I would just dig. I just got to do something. I got to get it out. Just like going around that next corner. I never find what I'm digging for, but next thing you know, I had to jump. Yeah. And I go out there on my bike and just ride. And I would have to completely blow my wad before I would do my homework, if I even did my homework at all. But I could focus. But then put me in a 3-hour hare scramble, and I have like this focus that it's unbelievable.
You're online.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to like toot my horn or anything, but no,
it's a big deal.
I can't hear anything. I can't see anything. I can't taste anything. I can't smell anything. It is unreal. It's like if you took a frame of your goggles and made a tube out of it to the ground, that's what it feels like. Yeah. And I'm just like, it's like racing motorcycles. And I think this goes back like to why I am a motorcycle racer. And it's like, and why I love it is because I've been able to find like a level of peace in my own brain that I cannot find anywhere else from riding a motorcycle. Like, I have a pretty noisy head, whatever that means, and like I really struggle with sleeping. I struggle with resting. Ever since I do, dude. Since I was a little kid, I always had the worst nightmares, and I still do to this day.
Cool. That's sorry to hear.
Well, it's whatever. It's who I am. It's fine. But even to this day, I'm 27 years old, and I have nightmares almost every night. And it's the weirdest thing. I'll wake up. I mean, it's just like really kind of, I guess it is kind of sad. It's kind of scary, really. But like it's gotten to the point where I dread going to sleep.
No shit.
Yeah. I like actually dread sleeping. I hate it. I hate sleeping.
Have you seen anybody about it?
Yeah, I go to a doctor and I have some stuff that helps a lot. Like I take these little, these supplements basically, and it's like helps you sleep. It has like magnesium and shit like that in it. Yeah. And those help a lot. They really, really do. But I don't want to. I'm almost against using like any type of substance because through my own research, I've read that like alcohol is a horrible example because I wouldn't use that to like go to sleep. But
yeah, terrible idea.
Like alcohol or
we have Ambien, which is
known. Oh god, even Ambien is the worst. I don't take that.
It knocks you the fuck out. And you actually get no REM and no deep sleep. It is
exactly.
It is literally like giving you fucking anesthesia.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Is with these certain substances, is it knocks you out, but you don't get any REM sleep.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do
So
that.
then you go to your training.
And in REM sleep is the only time your body makes its own human growth hormone.
That's right.
And testosterone and
as
stuff.
well, it starts.
And that is crucial to my world.
Yeah.
So I'm not using substances. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
So that's where I've found my struggle. But kind of looping back around to the racing, like when the quietest time in my whole world is like right before an enduro cross. We're sitting out there in the tunnel. Everybody's nervous. None of the riders are really talking to each other. Some of us are joking around a little bit. I'm usually the one joking around a little bit.
Keep it light.
Yeah, I try to keep it's crazy, right? Yeah, you're a fag. Like trying to keep it soft, right? But we're all shaking in our boots, It's like we're about to go to war. Like that's what it feels like to us. Because we're all buddies, but when come that first turn, dog, my elbows are no fun, whatever. Yeah. And it's jittery. The lights go out, the crowd screaming and yelling, whatever. The national anthem sings. That's when something about that gets me going. I'm not sure what it is.
Does that give you like a fucking adrenaline pump?
Major, and I get these chills down my spine, adrenaline, and that's when that focus starts to like come like, you know what I mean? It starts to come in on me, right?
Yeah.
And something starts to take over, and you put your helmet on, and it's like everything slows down, and you put your bike in the gate. Now nobody's talking to each other at that point, and the crowd is still interested, and it's still wild, and maybe the race before you is going on, and you're kind of thinking yourself in the back of your mind, like, all right, dude, I've been working at this really hard. Like, it's time to lay it down. It's enduro cross. I got 15 laps. I got to put it down right now. And there's all this noise in your head, right? Like, I got to do this. This is crazy. I have 15 or 14 of the best riders to my right and to my left in the world. And I'm about to go head-to-head with these motherfuckers. There's all this noise in your head. And not just crowd noise, but it's in your head. And you're trying to focus, and it's going crazy. Just like all these sleepless nights, right? And then you start your bikes, goes a little bit quieter, and then 30-second girl turns her board sideways and walks away, and you're staring at the gate, waiting for that gate to drop. And that moment, that 5-10 seconds right there, that is the quietest and most peaceful thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, watching that thing, you're not blinking, you're barely breathing, and and it's the craziest part. Every one of your bikes is like 10,000 RPMs. Wah! The gate's getting ready to drop, and you're about to go to fucking war. And it's like, you can't hear anything. You can't see anything. You can't taste anything. You can't feel anything. Any pains, any weaknesses, any emotional struggles, any whatever that you're going through, it's non-existent. It's not muffled. It's non-existent. You don't even know it's there. And you're just watching that gate. And it's complete silence and peace. Clarity. The most clarity in the world. And I have not experienced that doing anything. And then that gate drops, and it's on. It's just game on.
You're one of the riders of the chaos.
Riders of the chaos.
Riders of the chaos.
It's just, and that's why I race, because of that silence.
It's fucking awesome.
I'm just chasing that. I'm just searching for silence.
I got fucking goosebumps.
That's all it is, dude.
I love lining up.
It's the greatest thing.
And I don't know what it is. I love lining up.
Maybe you're searching for silence, too.
Maybe.
I mean, that's the only time I've truly had silence, honestly.
And that makes you think, too. And I almost sympathy, or at least empathy, for the people that fucking don't have anything that matters that much.
I know.
Because those are the motherfuckers creating hate.
Yeah.
Online.
Yep.
In life. Because they're fucking miserable. And they don't know how to get their fix.
That's why I tell people, get a dirt bike, dude.
And I've said this many times. I don't care if you're a passionate, badass motherfucking gardener and your garden is the baddest thing on the planet.
Dopest garden.
But if you put your time and work into it and that's what you're about, you're not one of those fucking people doing that shit either.
Nope.
You know, you got your own program. You're waking up in the morning, you're thinking about that garden. You're going to bed at night, you're thinking about that garden.
And honestly, by thinking about that garden and working on that garden, maturing that garden, you're making the world a better place, dude.
It's like Joe Dirt, motherfucker. Dig it!
Yep. I'm telling you, dude. And that goes back to having that thing. These kids need to have a thing. They need to have something they give a shit about.
And that's what I hear parents fighting about is their kids don't want to do shit. And I've heard
the kids don't want to, or the parents won't let them.
No. I've heard both. But
right.
The kids, you can line up a kid who has a dirt bike, bought him a dirt bike, and say, "Hey, Billy, do you want to go ride dirt bikes, or do you want to sit here and play fucking Xbox or watch TV?" And 9 times out of 10, they're like, "I want to play Xbox. I want to play TV," because you have something in the home that is entertaining and satisfying them. And it's easy. They don't have to, they have no output. And I don't even know what to fucking say about it. And you know me, I got a lot to say. I usually have a lot of answers.
Right.
That's kind of how I've made my life, is by being the guy with the answers.
I have a little insight on that.
And I don't have a lot to say, to be honest.
Well, first off, it's sad.
Well, yes.
Obviously. And me and my buddy were just talking about this yesterday. And I think what it is like a lot of like these new kids. And like, I mean, I'm 27. I'm a kid, dude. Like,
yeah.
I'm categorized as like a millennial, right?
Dude,
I'm like
you have no idea the shit I was up to when I was fucking 27. You don't even want to know.
Maybe I don't.
I was actually living in Australia at the time, so I was driven.
Well, that sounds good.
It was good.
Well, I my point is that I'm still young myself, so for me to have an insight on this is kind of strange. But a lot of the people in my generation, you know, or younger than me, you know, I think that they are looking for, they want to find that mental stimulation. They want that feeling. They want that stimulation with none of the risk or none of the work. They don't want to load up their motorcycle, get gear. I mean, what's the worst part about going riding? It's getting there, getting geared out.
Yeah.
And then riding's great. And then getting ungeared and driving back home. That's the worst part about it. They don't want to do that. And then also the worst part about it is when you take fucking meat off your bones, or when you crash and you break your bones, and they want that feeling without any of the risk.
Yeah. Doesn't work that way.
And that's where video games come in. And that's where Instagram comes in.
You can live that life as far as you think. And you don't have to, nothing has to happen.
Or as far as most people think, right?
I've had this kind of ability to shoot with my bow on public land, unguided, many. I don't know if I can count the number of massive bull elk, and not including other critters. And I get heaps of people. How do you do it? How do you do it? Because everybody, especially in the hunting community, everybody wants to shoot big shit. Whether it's with a rifle or a bow, big antlers, big shit.
When they say, what do you do it, they want to know, like,
how do you do it? Like, why are you successful?
Do they want, like, one sentence?
I don't know. That's a funny thing. Because you can say this. I find
I
find the community.
Let me hand you my stack of hunting books.
Yeah. I find the similarity, and maybe that's why I'm here, between hunting, which was a big passion of mine, and I did all over the world. From a kid that grew up in a rented trailer in a fucking trailer court. Like, I remember like sitting in Zimbabwe, Africa, on a Cape Buffalo, going, fuck, I wonder how many kids in my trailer courts fucking sat on one of these. You know? And I did that all over the world.
Fucking A.
From Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. I've been to places like people can't even fucking imagine. And I'd always think that. Like, I wonder how many kids from the trailer court have been here. And you know, it's just that funny thing of understanding why people bow out and they don't want that experience. So people would ask, and even for the local hunting, they're like, dude, like, how do you go? I mean, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you get there? How do you make it happen? And I'd look at them, and you made the point. Like, is there like a one sentence for this?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
And I'd simply say this. I got their attention. I go, I don't really want it, honestly, because it's a fucking life story of discipline and what to do. And I simply say this. You know what the hardest fucking thing is? And they're like looking, like, what?
What's the secret?
What's
the secret's coming.
What's the secret? The hardest thing is getting your ass in the fucking seat of your truck. Because once you do that, the machine is moving. Until, I mean, you could say, I set the alarm for 2:30 in the morning because I know it's an hour and a half drive and I know I need to hike 3 hours in the fucking dark to get to where I need to be at the first light. So until you get in the truck and you're rolling, none of that happens because you can turn your alarm off.
Click.
Yeah.
That's so much easier.
Or you can just decide.
Dude, that is so much easier.
Or you can look and go, fuck, it's 20 below outside. And I can tell you the dudes I roll with, 15 below, like Rufus. We've had nights 20 below zero.
Rufus didn't care.
We're at 3 o'clock in the morning at 20 below zero, not wind chill, with dead elk, packing meat, like.
At 3 o'clock in the morning?
3 o'clock in the morning.
Why so early did you have the fucking...
No, we're there. I mean, like, finishing up. So, like, shot a bull 4 or 5 hours back in the backcountry, no trail, snow, free, obviously 20 below zero. And by the time we take the elk, skin them, quarter them, get them on the horses, because we didn't have full pack strings. So we're basically, they call it Indian quartering and hanging quarters off saddles and then leading the horses out.
Well, it's so goddamn cold, the fucking shit's not gonna go bad.
Yeah, no, it's not going bad.
No.
You know, and usually in that night, it was so cold, we started a fire while we were basically disassembling, quartering, and basically partially butchering the elk.
It was in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Before, like,
12
o'clock?
Because we shot them I shot that particular bull right before dark. So by the time we got it all done, it's...
Oh, so you're packing out at 2:30.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And then we've got another 4 or 5 hours out.
Oh, fuck. And that's where, like, that breed of, like, hard motherfuckers
those dudes are hard. And those two dudes, Tad and Wayne, they're hard motherfuckers.
Hard.
And the funny thing is like, you don't even need, it's like the dirt bike community. Like, the guys that are serious about it, I don't even have to say anything. And I'm starting to work on this elk, and my buddy Wayne has a fire going in 2.5 feet of snow at 20 below zero. Has started a fire.
Is that even possible?
Oh, totally. He knows what he's doing. And then Tad, he's just like this little Asian dude, totally raised in Montana. He was a hard little shit. And I mean, he'll take apart an animal like Hannibal. I mean, he's just like, blades. His blades are sharp. They're clean.
Ready to go.
And he knows how to take apart an animal. And we just descend on it. And then you got the stock there, you know, and they're hanging around and they're kind of nervous because they can smell the dead elk. Oh. And they're like, they know.
Like, dog, I hope we're not next.
They're like, yeah. Well, they know they're carrying it, you know.
Oh, they know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they know it.
Meal, the difference between a horse right there.
So, and I know we're talking about motorcycles, but dude, I got to tell you this. So this is on this trip.
I don't want to interrupt you, but something that I thought about, like when you were talking about kind of relating, going back to that searching for silence thing, when you were talking about hunting, you're relating it to that. You know, I imagine that, you know, you do all this work, you do all this scouting, you do all this running, you do all this walking, you do all this stuff to find, to set yourself up to shoot a big animal, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine that when you're pulling your bow back and you're looking that animal in the face and you're about to release that bow, it's kind of that same feeling of when that gate's about to drop.
Yeah.
Where
there's nothing in the world.
There's no room for any bullshit.
No.
You want to talk about a cleanse?
The only thing you're fighting is fucking panic.
Oh yeah.
And they actually have a name. They call it target panic. And that's the panic of you've worked so hard and you've fucking dreamed about tasting this moment of letting that arrow fly. Like literally, after you've put in X amount of hours and X amount of sweat and blood, there becomes a point where I don't know if it's a primal thing or what, but you have this insatiable urge that you're ready to make this happen.
Right.
And you're ready to so it's really easy to just pull that arrow back and just go pre-ejaculation
Right.
and fucking let it go. And I've guided people that have had literally a gimme shot, 20 yards. You give them a target and they'll shoot a circle like this with a bow at 20 yards with the current equipment all day long and miss 36-inch from top to bottom target, miss it like by 2 feet because they literally shit themselves. They panicked. They close their eyes, whatever.
Perfect example of the guy that can tap in or tap out for a race.
They lost their focus.
They lost their shit.
They lost their shit. You can't lose your shit.
And those are the guys that practice good, race like shit.
Yeah.
They lost it.
They lose their shit when it matters.
I can't ride anymore. How do I do this?
It happens. It happens.
And the guys that are good at it can go, ooh, let's slow the shit down, man.
Yeah.
I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing. I'm here.
Do they talk about Willie Mays, man? One of the best baseball player sluggers of all time. And believe what you want. He said that as he hit that baseball, and we're talking 80 mile an hour, 90 mile an hour. And I don't know if you've seen an 80 or a 90 mile an hour fastball and tried to hit one.
No, you can't see it.
You can't fucking see it.
No.
He says he could see the stitching where it hit the bat.
What?
Every time.
Talk about silence.
He slowed it down. He was in the fucking matrix, whatever you want to call it. And
yeah, call it what you want.
So for me, there's no reason
It's the silence, baby.
that it's out there and you can find it.
And that's what I want. That and a lot of and like I told you before, was like I want to do good with the kids, with this little bit of platform that I have, because I see so much bad with the kids now, like the directions of their life. Like if I can help a kid choose the right path over the wrong path, that's what I want them to do, because I kind of crapshoot when I was a kid, kind of chose the right path, but I was kind of a crazy kid. I didn't, like, I had good parents, I had good support, I had great everything, but something was off, something.
Or was it? Maybe it wasn't off.
Maybe it wasn't off.
Maybe it just is what it is.
But if I didn't have the right guidance or the right surroundings, I could have chosen maybe a bad path. But maybe not, because I always surrounded myself with good people. My parents were good, and a lot of my friends were like older people. Like a lot of my good friends were like 40-year-old like dads.
Yeah.
Like I had like 10 dads growing up because I don't know why, but I had a lot of good influence. I surrounded myself with good influence, not intentionally, not purposely, not thoughtfully, but it's just something I wanted. But if I can help a child or a kid or a young kid, or like even like a better example, like an 18-year-old, like a 20-year-old even, to like choose the right path instead of partying and drinking and throwing it away, kind of, and focusing.
I don't even know.
That's what I want. I want to be able to do that.
I don't know. I think it's funny how it could be complicated and then it can go simple again. I don't know that's even choosing the right path. It's just choosing a path.
A path.
And a lot of times I've seen life, and as I've tried to explain, like success, it isn't a ladder. I look at it more like a triangle. And you start at the bottom of the base. And
ding, ding, ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
It's like Palinko.
Yeah.
Because y'all can't always, dude, if you're sitting down like, hey, I'm going to make the home run fucking decision right now, you're to set up for disappointment.
You better go home, pack your fucking bags.
Because you're going to have to hit some walls and learn from Plinko here to the next trajectory, hopefully even, if not maybe a little higher, but it's a work in progress.
Right.
But if you don't start down some type of path, you're fucked. You're not going to make it.
No.
So I don't forget. I got to ask you this because I think it's important.
Ask.
So you're talking about the American flag.
Yeah.
And you talk about, you get a feeling when you see it.
Yeah.
And when they do, you know, the Stars and Stripes usually is, you know, the song they play.
Yeah, baby.
And it happens to me every time. I get these, I don't know if it's adrenaline, butterflies. I know for sure if we wave the flag in an attack, I'd probably be the first fucker killed because I'm ready to charge out.
Excited Southerner, dude.
Yeah, full chest out,
Yeah.
like charge to my death. And the last time it happened was a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago at the first round at the Hare and Hound down in Lucerne Valley, California. We're out in the desert in the morning, and they have the flag up, and they play it. And it just, it occurred to me, I got the same feeling. Like, this is a country. This isn't about race or who fucked who fucked this, who did this to who. We are a nation, truly, no bullshit, under this flag. That's what separates us, that we are this thing. And this flag symbolizes, like, if it came down to it, say we were encroached on by whatever countries or fucking aliens, or I don't give a shit.
Right.
That is the bond that, hey, take all differences aside and all the bullshit social media fucking shit and all the crap you hear on the news, that at the end of the day, when they fly that fucker, do we take care of business as a country, no matter what color we are or how we feel that we're fucking ripped off because, you know, I can't go take a shit in a girl's bathroom?
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
I mean, what the fuck? So I see that, and it just, it's amazing to me. And then you take it to the, you know, they had last year, the pro football shit where people are kneeling
People are kneeling for the flag.
and they're not for the flag, to just basically, I guess, you know, if they're showing the disassociation of a country, but why don't we just fucking get the Civil War on now then? I mean, you know, what the fuck?
It's funny because I agree with you, and I also can almost see where they're coming from, only from the fact of, like, that is part of what makes this country, like your ability to, or your opportunity to say how you're feeling is what makes this country great, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah.
And it's weird that, like, the disagreement is what makes this the agreement, right? You know, it's such a weird fucking twisted thing. And it's like I've come full circle like 3 times on that whole deal. and I can't make it. I can't figure it out, you know, but there is no figuring it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out too.
But
I don't have the answers.
But what was the question that you had? Because you said you had a question.
But that was the thing is, you know, you feel that way. And honestly, I'm standing there, and I just thought about it at the point when I was there. I'm standing in the desert, and there's between onlookers and racers, 300-400 people standing there.
Yeah, right.
And when that goes on, I don't need to look at anybody. For women, men, children, different ethnic backgrounds.
Race, whatever.
It's like we're there.
Race, religion.
There's that flag, and we're standing here. And as far as I'm concerned, like, we're together.
Yeah.
We're a unit.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit at that point when that thing goes up, because I don't know. I mean, maybe it's an old school belief, but if there isn't anything to bring everyone, all the bullshit together, then what the fuck are we?
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to it.
Is that the question?
I guess. I don't know.
What the fuck are we?
We may not have enough time for that one. But we'll let that one marinate.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's...
But you had a question for me, but what's the question?
Well, that was the question, is just, you know, basically, you know, how you felt about basically about the flag. You know, when
Flag.
you're sitting there, because you told me that when it comes up and they do that, and I know it's before a stressful thing, that you have a feeling, and I definitely
have it anyway, but
I have a feeling that it's in me. It's not in my head. I literally feel it in my chest.
Me too.
Which is weird.
Chest, stomach, legs, knees.
And I wonder, is it the event? Is it because you know you're about to embark on something dangerous, or is it because this is from me growing up as a kid, having the experience that this is like the only thing that I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like the only thing that's left in this country with all this divisiveness and all this shit that like means something.
What does it mean? Is that the question?
I don't know.
I don't know either, dude. I you know, it means something to me, and it gives me that feeling, and I can't tell you exactly why, but I do know that I was raised with a certain level of patriotism. And my dad, both my parents worked their asses off their whole life. They worked really, really, really hard. My dad owned an auto garage, and that's one of the hardest businesses to be in. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to have kind of his guidance a lot of my life for businesses and life and stuff like that. But my dad worked his ass off. And you can't do that everywhere. It's an opportunity to be able to do that, to work your ass off. And I kind of knew that. You can't, you go to these other countries and people do not grind like they do here. They just don't. They don't work. There's no reason to.
Well, unfortunately, that's starting to happen here too.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But because of that, I always related my level of support with my parents. Like, I had good parents, and like, I had good support, and we made it all happen. But my parents weren't like rich. We didn't like have this unlimited nothing. We didn't have unlimited nothing.
Yeah.
You know, my parents have not had it easy, and I always appreciated that. Like, even when I was a kid, I had a level of appreciation. Like, my parents have done all this, and I'm here, and I got a fucking new dirt bike.
Yeah.
How guilty do I feel? I almost felt guilty about it. Whether I should have or shouldn't have is not really the point, but the point is that I appreciated it, and I recognized what went into it. And as I got older, I recognized more what went into it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm making fucking $7.25 an hour working at Safeway as a bag boy. That motorcycle my dad has got me was like a $5,000 motorcycle.
Yeah.
How many fucking hours? Okay.
A lot after taxes.
I better like, yeah. Like, I better watch that thing when I get home, you know? So, like, I always had some sort of ingrained appreciation, and I'm not sure if that's how my parents raised me or what it was, but I always appreciated that. And it trickled up towards the flag.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all very fortunate to live in this country, and the fact of the matter is we all have it so good that back in the old days, and still in other countries, it's about life or death. And it is legitimately about life or death. Well, we're past that here. We don't have life or death. You're not going to die. If you don't have money, you're not going to die. So now we're on to
You may get fat, actually.
Yeah, right. So now we're on to these social issues. We start giving a shit about shit that you shouldn't care about. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And look, if I care that much about your race or your religion or your choice of who you like or whatever, then I'm not cool either. And I don't care. I just want to do what I want to do. Yeah. Don't hate me for doing what I want to do and believing what I want to believe, because I don't hate you for believing and doing what you do. And we've gotten down to that. And I've always kind of like said that's ridiculous. And I think it is. We're down to these social issues, and now the socialists are starting to take over the rest of the world. But I've always I've just been stoked on the American flag because, I mean, just like what you said, as far as I'm concerned, when that flag flies, if you're standing next to me, you're an American, you know? Yeah. Whatever you are, you're an American, and we're in this together. We're in this together, and
that's how I feel too. I think you bring up a great point, because I think it's oversubscribed and over pumped up about, man, I didn't even want to talk about shit like this, but whether it's the social warriors, racism, all of it. Because I think the true people in general are too, how do I say this politely? Are too obsessed with their own shit to even really care and hate and do all these things that it's purported that all these people do. People are so obsessed and so selfish with their own program, whether it's, it doesn't matter what it is, video games to social media to portraying this, portraying that. Where is the time? I mean, is there like a room full of racists somewhere, like planning racist things, and that's what they do to like go out and do this stuff? Because I have never even heard of these people, and maybe they do exist. But I can tell you from everyone I've ever met in my life, and I lived in North Idaho for 12 years. All right. I never saw any weird shit. They say shit goes on. I never saw any weird shit at all, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, is this going on in a secret bunker somewhere that all these people around the world, it's a true problem that they're out there planning the demise of another race? I'm like,
it's a made up thing, dude.
Dude, people are more concerned about what fucking time Survivor's on, or if they set their DVR for it than any of that other shit, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know.
I think you bring up a good point in the fact that, like, just your point of like, where are all these horrible races people or whatever it is?
Like Santa's workshop?
Yeah.
Like elves? I mean,
yeah, I know.
I mean, honestly.
I've never heard somebody say like anything bad. Fuck, I don't want to get into it. But you're right.
Yeah. I don't see any like people planning shit and
all
doing shit.
This funnels down to dirt bikes. It doesn't matter what kind of dirt bike you have or what color you are or who you like. If you're out there riding dirt bikes, then you're fucking cool, dude.
Have fun.
It's all good, man.
Have fun. Ride a dirt bike.
Yeah.
I guarantee you out there, if anyone's listening to this who's never ridden a dirt bike,
I hope you are listening too.
Yeah, you need to ride a fucking dirt bike because it may change your life because there's a certain amount of fun.
Yeah, if you're looking for some sort of answer that you can't find or you're stagnant in your life, go get a dirt bike. Go get a mountain bike. Go run.
It's probably cheap. It's probably, I don't know if I don't know if the whole thing's cheaper than heroin and cocaine, but I'd say it's on par.
Yeah, it's a more expensive initial investment. But once you got the initial investment, it's a little bit cheaper later on.
But then if you get into the hard enduro shit, parts add up.
Might go up.
Yeah, so you should probably find a good parts guy and get a good parts deal.
But as far as like, if you need something, if you feel like you need something, or if your direction is unclear, even if it doesn't matter what your age is. I know a lot of people that are not happy and have jobs I do not like right now. Just go ride, dude. Go ride. Go mountain bike. I'm a big mountain biker. I love that shit. Go hunt. Go have a goal other than whatever your life is right now. And
sell
just
some of your shit.
Get out there.
And get stuff. Do stuff that gets your heart rate up.
Get your heart rate up. Dude, you know what I cannot do is like any sort of paperwork or anything like that without exercising first. I have to, like, if I'm having even like a rest day or a catch up on paperwork day, I go out and run first. I'll go for like maybe like 3 or 4 mile run in the morning. It takes like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. And I'll just blow it out. Okay. Now I can do stuff. Yeah. Now I'm okay with it. Now I can focus. I blew my wad a little bit. I'm here. It's okay. I'm not trying to like skip through this so I can go do something else. I did it. Now I can go here, focus, and get in. And I'm just like,
now you're focused.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no doubt. There's definitely one of the monkeys I've been trying to get off my back is at the race starts. There's no doubt. And it is getting a lot better. So maybe I don't need to go to this extent, but I should really probably be waterboarded, tortured, put in a cage, beaten, poked at, electrocuted for maybe like 24 hours straight, and then let me race. And I'll race much more closer to my potential.
Why is that?
Too amped up, too tight, you know? And so if you beat the shit out of me for a while, and so like a lot of these 2-day races, it's actually good. You know, I went out to TKO this year and went in and went in the amateur side. So you had to do the first moto with 260 some guys, and it rained like 2 inches. So it was slick as shit. You know, ended up with a 5th place. Then went into the second moto, halved it down and
Right.
8th, and then made it into the pro day. And man, by the pro day, I was like ready to go because I'd literally had the fucking snot beat out of me, you know, getting through the day before. So I was like
broken loose.
on point.
Dude,
And,
it goes back
and
to
the
like,
performance showed.
I remember like I used to do a lot of like mountain bike like dirt jumping when I was a kid, like in middle school, high school, all that.
So is that like the vertical parks, like the short straight
It's
up?
just like dirt
straight
jumps. We built a bunch of jumps in my parents' side yard, and we'd go over to the kid's house down the street or whatever and find big jump. Yeah, like vertical like mountain bike jumps. Or like they were riding BMX bikes. I was the only weirdo that rode a mountain bike. I don't know why. But like sometimes I'd show up and I couldn't get it going and I would crash, right? And just like skin my knee down or crash, my brains out. And then I would be like, after that, it was like, oh, okay, now I'm flowing. Now I got to figure it out. All I had to do was blow my brains out, and now I'm chilling, you know? And once I did that, I was like, flowing like water, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, why did that have to happen to do that? And I don't know why. But sometimes, like in a race, you get shaken up a little bit, and you rise up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like your body like spikes some sort of adrenaline or like it does something to your mental focus or fires you up. I don't know what it is, but
I think
works.
there's definitely an adrenaline dump. And then once you have that, if you don't control the initial dump, then you have that fall off.
Then you start that snowball.
Yeah. And then you got to try to pull the sticks up.
Yeah.
And try and get the nose of the
Start
airplane.
throttling that thing back, dog.
Yeah, back on plane.
Exactly.
So now I'm trying to, believe it or not, I'm kind of getting to the point like you described where, you know, I mean, we're all at whatever level, but I'm pretty, in most starts, I'm pretty damn calm now.
Oh, yeah.
I feel, you know, I don't have the anxiety because I kind of like, well, I'm going to focus on getting a good start the best I can. And then I'm just going to sort it out from there.
Right. I mean, it's like, you know, I've kind of come to the conclusion. It's like, I'm here. I'm now. Oh, what, you know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm not going to be able to change anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the hardest I can. I'm going to go the best I can.
You're not going to win it in the first 5 seconds.
I'm not going to win in the first 5 seconds. And if I get a shitty start, I'm going to fucking deal with it. Whatever. Just chill, dude. And the other thing I always say that calms me down is like, hey, it's the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going through it. It rained for everybody. It's dusty for everybody. Everybody's worried about getting that start. And that one motherfucker that gets the good start, when he gets out there, he's going, holy fuck, thank God.
Yeah.
And guess what? He probably crashes in the third turn. He's freaking out so bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're all in it. We're all...
It's funny you mention that because somebody, you know, I think I pulled it off somebody else, but I just love when in the hard enduro, when it's physically just destroying. And when I feel it, like I'm being physically challenged or I'm physically miserable, I literally get pumped because I know in being fit and being at my mental state, I know other people are suffering 3 times worse than I am.
Well,
and that powers me forward.
Totally. It's the thing of like...
It's changing feeling sorry for yourself to now it's time to be king of the cage.
Exactly. Dude, like, I remember the first time I experienced that. Like, it was TKO, 2015 maybe. Yeah, that sounds right. And, maybe, yeah, 15. And, I was so tired in the final moto, and I was so beat. And for some reason, I was able to tap in. And I just tapped in, and I, like, passed one guy. And I saw a look on his face, and he looked beat. And he looked beaten. And I probably looked the same. But something about me seeing him look beaten was like,
dude,
ooh.
You know what I call it?
And I was like, felt it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go catch the next motherfucker that's beaten. Let it get him.
You know what it is?
And
You know what I
like-
call it? I don't know. It sounds horrible. Dude, it's being a soul eater. Because when
Yeah.
you come up, whatever energy they have left, it's like you take it.
Yeah.
And it goes inside you and it
Yeah.
fires you to the next because
Yeah.
you saw someone who was broken because they're ahead of you.
Yeah, and they're not going to take it back.
Because somehow they were ahead of you.
Yeah.
So they were besting you. So now you've got by them, and you know when you go by,
You got them beat.
whatever they had in them,
Gone.
you just took it.
Gone.
And for some reason, not only did you just take it, now it's in you.
Now what you have is double downing.
It's double down,
Double dipping.
slingshot, Ricky Bobby, slingshot engaged.
Yeah.
You're moving forward.
Yep.
It's cool shit.
And the first time I experienced that, it was like the sickest thing I've ever felt. I'm like, dude, this is so good. And by the end of the race, I was tired and exhausted, and I mean, obviously, completely beat.
Yeah.
I mean, TKO, it rains every year and is unbelievably slippery.
1,000% humidity.
1,000% is fucking miserable. And I finished race. I think I got fourth that year. It's pretty good. I mean, it was
Nice.
like, like good dudes in first, second, and third, obviously.
Yeah.
I've gotten fourth there twice and fifth there once, so I'm really not trying to get that again. I'm trying to get the podium, but that feeling is, man, it's so good. I mean, but yeah, your term of like taking souls is so true. It's so true. It feeds you. It passing people that are also beaten, but you're not totally beaten yet. And that's why you did it. You passed them because you weren't giving up. You weren't totally beaten, and you got past them and you kept going.
You had a little more, and it just seems that seeing someone, and that has nothing to do with them personally or who they are.
No.
Or nothing. It's just that you're hurting too.
Right.
And you pushed through it, and you made it past that marker.
Yeah.
And that has fueled you to go further.
Yeah. It's
And I
weird.
just think, whatever, that I typically am not on the other side of that. I may not finish first, but I'm generally not the broken soul.
Yeah, I've been on both sides many times.
Have you?
Yeah. But I mean, I've been in situations where when you got nothing left, you got nothing left. I mean, what are you gonna do? If you got nothing left, you got nothing left.
Well, that's why I joke with people, and I don't know. I hope they don't see it as
Like I'm not giving up, but I got nothing left.
Gotcha.
You know.
Well, you've put it out, and I mean that's kind of a different stage. I've said it jokingly that I hope to get good enough on a dirt bike to exceed my physical capabilities. Because kind of right now, I'm not fast enough to be able to exceed my physical fitness typically.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I just, to keep it upright,
You'll crash first.
I'll crash first.
Right.
So it's not saying
Before
anything,
you're like waxed.
that's not saying anything great. I'm just saying that I'm still not good enough to go the speed that you can go. I'll crash before I'll wear out.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, it's just the truth.
well, dude, that's the same with extreme enduro.
If I try to hold it like you hold it, I'm gonna fucking end up in the weeds.
Yeah.
So I gotta manage it.
That's why extreme enduro is gnarly, because like even the top guys deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't sprint in extreme enduro. You just can't. Even TKO, where it's like a lap, or like, how does the last moto work? Is it like 30 minutes plus 2 or something? I forget.
Yeah. So the last moto
I've done it like 10 times and I always forget.
was 30 plus 2. And,
Yeah.
And it's a short course. It's only like a mile.
Mile and a half,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe tops.
So like, that would sound like a sprint, right? 30 minutes, 1 mile short course.
It seems like
Dude,
it, but
that
it's
is
not.
everything but a sprint.
Yeah, it's something that starts as a sprint and then turns out basically like a gladiator fest. Pretty much.
Yeah, everybody's just.
Actually, I thought at one point, I was thinking to myself, in my helmet, will I pass out before I die?
I thought that too.
Really? Because my head was so hot, I was wondering, because
Dude, I'm telling
I
you.
wasn't going to give up. So I'm like, okay, will I just die? Or will I pass out and then wake up and not die? Or will I just die?
I thought, honestly, at TKO,
And
like,
I'm not shitting you.
I felt like that's the closest I've been. That's the closest I've been, I
Well,
feel like.
It's like your head. It's like having your head in an oven.
Oven.
Yeah.
And your body too.
Yeah, I'm driving back. By the way, it was 3 days to drive back to Montana.
That's miserable.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of radiator coolant systems to somehow have like a reservoir in my Camelback that pumps, because when you have,
Let's just put it on your bike.
yeah, well, that's been a thought. Run it off the bike that goes up tubes into the helmet and recirculates, takes the heat out.
What?
Oh yeah. Well, after people have a lot of the sports medicine surgeries, rotator cuff repairs, ACLs, they have these cuffs that you put on, and you have a little cooler, and it has a pump.
Yeah.
And you hit it.
I've had one.
And I bet you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So like, if you can circulate cool water, why couldn't you circulate through a helmet?
I don't know. Extra weight.
I don't know. Yeah, it would be, but I tell you, your brain cooking.
Dude, that shoulder, you just reminded me of shoulder stuff.
Like a clam.
Shoulder stuff sucks.
My head's like a clam bake.
Yeah. It's like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
It feels like a giant is like just like smushing your head like warm.
So you have, from what I see, a grade 3. They call it a piano key. Where it sticks straight up. Look at that. So you can push it and it'll go down, but it comes back up.
Yeah.
They call it the piano key.
And it doesn't really hurt, but like sometimes it peps up way worse than others.
Yeah.
But like I had my buddy the other day like came up and like flicked it.
What a dick.
Oh, a total fucking dickhead. And he like flicked it and I was like, ah! He's like, did that really hurt? I'm like, yeah, you fucking dick. And it hurt like crazy. I'm like, this thing doesn't, like I could move and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, typically they don't cause a lot of pain because the tendon's gone.
They wanted me to get like surgery and stuff, but I'm like, it doesn't really hurt and I can still move around. I'm still strong, so it's like, nah.
From what I remember back from school and orthopedics was that it's more of a cosmetic thing to bring it back down. So they'll anchor it back down.
Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Hey, you got a black cowboy hat? You ride a fucking dirt bike for a living? Exactly.
Right.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, we're way past aesthetics, baby.
Scars make good stories.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have any tattoos, but I got a lot of scars. I broke my pelvis back in what was that, 2016? That was bad.
Shit.
Yeah, it was horrible, dude.
That's like a rodeo deal.
Yeah, it was
Sometimes.
so bad. It was the worst. That might have been the worst pain I've been in. Pretty close.
Did they put a external fixator where they shot?
So I didn't break
a frame.
I didn't break it in the middle.
Gotcha.
I broke like the hip part off. It was
Yeah.
like the pelvic wing. It was bad. It was in like this weird boat accident thing. It was it was one of those deals where like, so I'll tell a story. Most people have never heard this story. I usually try to steer away from it, but it's finally at the point where it's long enough ago where like I can like tell a story and not like get in trouble, you know. But we were at the boat. We were at the lake, and we were pulling the boat out of the water. It was a pontoon boat, and there was like 8 of us on the boat. You know how you like hook the boat up, strap the boat down a little bit, and then pull it up to the parking lot, and then everybody gets out of the boat, wipes the boat down, hops in the truck, goes home.
Yeah.
So we're in the back. We're in the boat, and the guy driving was trying to be funny. He's trying to be cool. He pulls the boat out, and he goes around a 90-degree turn, and he goes lights up the tires. And he flips the boat off the trailer. He flips the fucking boat off the fucking trailer. And I was on the pontoon boat, sitting on the fucking boat. And I'm like, is it? And I hear this guy light his tires up. I'm like, really? No. I'm thinking to myself, like, this is it? This is fucking it? And that boat went, I was on the high side of the pontoon boat, flipped off, and there was like pavement and then a sidewalk, curb with a sidewalk. And I kind of like jumped and lofted myself off because I wanted the boat to not land on me.
Yeah, no shit.
And crush me. So I'm like, I'm going to get out of the fucking landing zone of this thing at least. And I landed. I think I landed on the curb maybe. And I broke my pelvis and I tore my labrum in one of my shoulders, my left shoulder, I think at the time, really bad. And I'm like laying there like, what? First off, I'm alive. Second off, it was the weirdest thing. I was like actually waiting to wake up from a dream. I'm like, this can't be really happening, you know. Like I'm gonna wake up any second now, like this, and I'll go brush my teeth and go take another piss and I'll be fine. And I never woke up from the fucking dream, dude. And it was so bad. And I stood and I was like, oh, what the hell? And I was screaming at the guy that was driving. He was out and he's freaking out. I'm like, I wanted to kill the guy.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I was gonna kill the guy. I was going to kill the guy. And I stood up and I was like, oh, dude, I'm not good. And I looked down. And there's basically like a pool of blood under me. And I looked down. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I saw my pelvis was sticking out of my side, dude. My bone sitting on my side. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know there was bone there. So I'm like, oh. So I like squeeze it shut and there's blood all over me and it's not pretty. And I'm like, I'm standing by now and I'm like, dude. And I had it all going, like, and X Games is in 3 weeks. It was like 2 weekends from then. So it was like 3 weeks. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And the ambulance shows up and they're like, this guy gets out of the ambulance and I'm standing there like this, like, and he goes like, what do you got going on? I'm like, and I pull my hand away like this. And he goes like, oh, we're going to need a helicopter. I'm like, dude, I'm standing. Don't call a helicopter. I'm not paying for a helicopter. Just take me. If you really insist, just take me in your ambulance. Went to the ambulance and I had surgery and everything else. And it was not pretty.
That is so fucked up.
It was so fucked up. I had surgery. I have a scar like this big on my side. It was like really, really painful. And like the rehab was mega painful. And then I had surgery and then it was like on a Wednesday I had surgery. And then, or Tuesday maybe. And then 2.5 weeks later was X Games. And I'm like, X Games Enduro Cross. And I was like, fuck it, I'm racing. And I woke up from surgery and it was such a crazy story how it went down. I woke up, or no, before surgery, my surgeon came in and I'm like, hey doc, I'm gonna need a doctor's note. She's like, for what? I'm like, X Games. She's like, sure, look, if you come back in 6 months and you can do this, 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 and this, no problem. I'll write you a doctor's note. I'm like, yeah, but it's in 2.5 weeks. She's like, okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I'm like, no, I'm doing it. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge and you're going to write that fucking note. I'll show you. So I got surgery and everything. And for 2 weeks, I was like obsessively like, I've never taken so many supplements and pills. I was doing everything I could,
Yeah, you broke your pelvis.
It was horrible. It was so fucking bad. I couldn't do anything, dude. I couldn't get out of bed.
Iliac crest, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
No joke.
And I had already booked my plane ticket to Austin, Texas. That's why I didn't want to go. I didn't want to like waste my money on my plane ticket.
You just got fucking smashed or launched from a fucking boat. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to lose my plane ticket.
Yeah, it was like $600 ticket. So I ended up going, and it was really bad. I got the stitches removed the morning before my flight of my pelvis. So they pulled the stitches out, and then when they pulled the stitches out, I was like, I want a doctor's note. I need a doctor's note because by then the ESPN who owns X Games heard about it, and they're like, look, dude, if you're gonna race, then you better show up with a doctor's note because they can't take that kind of liability on,
Yeah.
So I show up, they pull the stitches out. My skin's like barely healed together, and she's like takes my leg and is like wiggling it all around, smushing it into my body. And I haven't done any of this because I'm in so much pain. And she's like, okay, now jump and touch the ceiling, do squats, do this. And I'm doing it all. I'm just fighting through it. I'm just like, I'm not showing any pain because if I show that it hurts, then she won't write me the note, And I got lucky because the surgeon that did the surgery on me that had to write me the doctor's note, she used to be a nurse at the X Games, like back in the day.
No shit.
So she like understood the kind of person, So she wrote the fucking note, and I went to X Games, and I raced and everything else. I couldn't move my leg or anything, so I had to like have my dad, or I was like, all right, Dad, start my bike. And at the time, I was running a 300 two-stroke, and I'm like, I called the mechanic the week before. I'm like, hey, dude, can you put the electric start back on that thing? Because we had only kickstarts to lighten it up.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, sure. So I get there, and I'm like, dude, where's the button? He's like, oh, I didn't have time. I'm like, oh, thanks. Now I have to race, and I have to kick. It was my right pelvis. I'm like, and now I have to kick this bike.
Yeah, it wasn't a request.
Yeah, I'm like, I really needed that done.
Needed it.
So I'm like, guess I got to deal with it now. So I had my dad would start the bike, and then I would like push the bike down from the back and like roll the bike underneath me, like as I'm just standing there like that, and like roll the bike underneath me, and like shift in a gear and go. I ended up qualifying for the main event and everything, and it was pretty wild. And I got like, once I qualified for the main event, I hurt so bad in the heat race. I was like, once I got in the main event, I was like, I already kind of exceeded like whatever I was hoping I would do. So I just rode around the main event. I think I got like 14th in the main event, but it was pretty gnarly. It was definitely a push through for sure.
Dude. Boats are bad.
I know, dude.
Bad things happen with boats.
Bad things happen with boats
Because they don't stop on a dime. They're not as scary as horses, but that's messed up, man.
Yeah, it was not a pretty picture. And then and that was the other thing. Like 3 weeks later, I realized like, dude, my shoulder's killing me too. What the hell?
Well, you probably didn't notice that because your hip was so jacked up.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, your body can only take on so much. It has like pain priority, so it goes to the source
about that first.
of the greatest pain. And
so I ended up getting X-rays on that and everything, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you tore your labrum super bad," and blah blah blah. And then they want to do surgery on my shoulder, but I ended up just rehabbing it myself, and it's fine. But that hurt just as bad during the race at that point than my pelvis, and it was just like, it was not pretty, dude. That was probably the gnarliest thing I've ever done, and it was definitely like not very smart of me to do that at the time. Yeah. But at the same time, like I probably wouldn't take it back either because I got a cool story.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's harsh.
It was bad.
It was funny. That isn't funny. I had a guy. He was a Italian dude. I'm pretty sure he was in the mafia.
Oh,
His
nice.
name was Sal Bracca, and he was from New Jersey. And I had this training for a couple of weeks for this company that did external fixation.
Oh boy.
And that's the stuff where when you're so busted up, you got to put in the pins and have outriggers because you have too much swelling. And then once the swelling goes down,
they can't fit it in there.
Yeah, they can go in, open you up, and put in all the plating. So they have pelvis ones. They have the ones you've seen for lower legs. It's called the Elizarov, which it's like bird cages going all the way down with, 20 pins going through, at different areas. And he had this presentation showing us all of these fucking horrific traumas. And it changed me for life because I was in my like early to mid 20s. And like he said, hey, this is the one from an airport where someone was taking the bags out of the back of their car and some asshole behind them wasn't paying attention and something happened and basically, both legs fucking pieces. And so since I went through that, and I've actually, fortunately or unfortunately, have had a lot of education and training and all this stuff, dude, I get out in an airport, I do not stand in between two
like
cars.
looking over your shoulder.
Dude, I have a laundry list of shit that I don't do.
Yeah.
Because I've seen these case reports of all the shit that happens.
There's other people you don't trust.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm always hyper, something may happen. But man, I tell you what, I don't trust fucking anybody.
I don't.
For anything.
I learned my lesson the hard way on that one.
I don't even trust myself.
It took me a while to like get to the point where I could kind of accept responsibility for myself because I found it easy to be like, this guy kind of ruined my life. Not ruined my life, but he fucked me over.
Yeah.
Bad.
Well, he kind of did.
He fucked me over really bad. He cost me a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of everything, a lot of misery.
You're just being a fucking jackass.
Yeah, because he was being an idiot. And I wanted to kill this guy for so long. And to be honest with you, I kind of still do. I still want to kill this guy. If I saw him at a gas station, I would probably throw some hands. At least.
So, I think it'd be fair to say that you haven't let it go entirely.
Well, I haven't. What I haven't let go of is that guy's level of idiocy.
Yeah.
I don't like anybody that is that stupid and willing to put other people's lives in risk. And he could have killed 8 people just like that. He got lucky that he didn't kill us.
Oh, dude, you don't have to sell it to me because we all have our shortcomings in life, and like holding a grudge, I may be the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, right. I'm not even trying to hold a grudge. I don't even think about it. It doesn't tear me up day to day, but I found it easier to deal with when I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have been on that boat. How could I have prevented that? And I kind of like started just taking it on myself, maybe I should have analyzed that situation a little bit more somehow and not been there.
Yeah.
But, I want to kill that guy. But at some point you kind of got to take responsibility because you put yourself in that situation. So
that's true. I mean, you got to take responsibility, but I tell you what, it didn't help the situation. Did not help the situation.
Yeah, that was probably the worst situation I've been in.
Holy crap, man.
But whatever.
Yeah, no, it works. It works out. It works out. So this year, what do you got? You're healthy?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, last year was rough for me, and it was really rough on me because I sold my business, my pool business, and I was focusing all on just riding and training, and then I had a really rough year. So I worked really, really, really hard for everything, and I sold my business, and I did all these crazy things, and I had no reward for it. I got hurt, and I wasn't making money, and I wasn't winning races, and I was struggling with it, and your mind kind of goes like, dude, it didn't work, But I just had a couple unlucky instances, and I had that really major concussion. I've never had a concussion in my life, and I had a concussion, and it was because it was in a circumstance that should not have happened, and I could hold a grudge for that all day long too. But I just kind of soaked that one up, dealt with it, and that was bad because I was sitting in like last year. I mean, just last year I couldn't do anything for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then like the third week I started to like come around. But I felt, honest to God, like I was like really, really shit faced for like 2 weeks, and my head hurt like mega. Like, it felt like someone took an air hose and pushed it in my ear and just fucking filled it up, and I was just like, ugh. For like literally 2.5 weeks, I sat inside and turned out lights and just like fuck for like try to sleep, and I was sleeping like crazy.
So light sensitive to your eyes.
Everything sensitive, and like when you talk to me, if you were like, hey, can you hand me that glass right there? I'd be like, yeah.
Why are you yelling at me?
And I would look at that glass and I'd like literally like, here you go. It was the weirdest thing. I was like trapped. It was the weirdest. It was the worst injury I've had. And then I got over that, raced the first Enduro cross. Didn't do very well, obviously, because I just came off of that. And then the next week after that, I broke my finger really bad. I shattered my middle finger like crazy. Which still does stuff like that.
Just pop.
But I can hold on now. I can't bend it very good, but I can hold on to a motorcycle, so it's like it works.
It's like you got 2 middle fingers.
Yeah, I do.
You can use that. It works.
I got a pretty bird now. Now everybody's like, every I flip someone off, they're like, ugh.
That's heavy.
What's that thing?
That's heavy duty, man.
So, but no, I
it's
honestly,
like when you got these.
Yeah,
they're like
that means something.
Yeah, they're like jumbo shrimp.
Yeah. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm recovered, and I feel more physically strong than I ever have, and more mentally prepared too. So I feel good this year, and I'm really excited. And yeah, I kind of like, and I have like a new, I don't know where it came from, but like a little bit more desire now, and I'm not sure why, but I've kind of got a little resurgence of desire and passion. So I'm really stoked for this year.
Yeah, I think with any sport at a high level, you have to find that flow state.
Yeah.
And that flow state of being incentivized, being, looking forward, having that attitude,
exactly.
And being, semi-relaxed at the same time.
Oh yeah.
You can lose sight that, it doesn't last forever, but
right.
You can make the game longer too.
Right, and that's the thing. Like,
by doing the right things.
Yeah, I thought.
Hopefully,
Yeah, and I've thought a lot about that. Like, this game doesn't last forever, and that's another thing that I think is really important is accepting the fact that it doesn't last forever and knowing that and just sinking into it while you can. But like when it is over, when I'm done, I want to be done. You know, and I'm far from it. I have a lot of goals that have not been accomplished yet, and I still believe that I can do them, and I want to do them, and I will do them. But when I'm done, I know I'm gonna wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But I'm not even close, and I love the sport, and it's the greatest thing. So I'm going.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to see a guy like you at Romaniacs.
Yeah, I want to go.
I don't think any American has stood on the podium.
Really?
No, not that I'm aware. Someone can please, message us or whatever if I'm incorrect. But
yeah,
as far as I know, no American.
What I like about that race is like it breaks you down, and it's like we talked about, it's a mental battle,
Yeah.
So you get to have that aspect even more so than you do with like a regular extreme enduro, because it just breaks you down, and gives you a lot of opportunities to take some souls.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things where you see these guys where talking about TKO being a 30-minute all-out hell sprint that turns into more of a short marathon
Yep.
+2. And then you start talking 6 to 8 hours of that over 4 off-road days. And I think that lends to a different character.
It does.
It's a different level of toughness.
It's that hard motherfucker.
Yeah. And I've said before, that was the greatest. I'm pretty much addicted to it. It's a love-hate.
Right.
Because it's one of the ones where I've gotten done and people were like right off, like, you gonna do it again?
Like, no.
And usually I'd be like, fucking egg.
Yeah.
And I look at him and go with like a dumb stare. I don't know.
Right.
And I've never been like that about anything.
You don't know.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's always for sure.
I don't know if I want to do that. And, but now the beauty of it again is it strips down
Who you really are.
who you really are. Like there's no, by the end of it, unless you're, and I actually, unfortunately, I know some of these people, if you're a complete oblivious fucking person, like you just go on in life going, like, well, it was this or that. But if you're not oblivious and you're honest with yourself, you're like, okay, the reason I did the way I did is because I wasn't this,
A,
I
B,
wasn't
C,
this,
D,
I
F.
wasn't this, and I wasn't
Yeah.
this. And I tell you what, man, once I got that list, and I think after the first year, I don't know, it's probably all 10 fingers, maybe more.
Yeah, A through Z.
But I had a list of shit to come home
Work on.
Because, I thought, hey, man, I'll do all right. I'm tough. I can do this. Like, no. Yeah, you thought you thought you were skilled. And it gives you something to work on. And if you don't, it's like, if you don't know, how can you fix it?
Can we pause again?
Yeah.
Fuck.
We hope all of you guys out there are enjoying this because it's been such a good podcast. We've had our first piss break, but actually now we've had 2 piss breaks.
We're breaking records all over the place.
So that's pretty good. and from the discussion, they were complete transactions. So
Totally
Yeah.
complete transactions.
yeah, full. No, no one went off half cocked, if you will.
No halfers. No.
So, but no, again, whether it's Romaniacs or whatever, man, it's just it's cool to be banging down the trails,
I know it.
hitting the features,
Yeah.
and just being out there and feeling and being able to experience everything that this life can offer. So
I know it. And all I can say, there's no way to wrap up anything like that we've talked about. But one thing that I can say is, I encourage people to go see what's around the next bend. And you know what? If that means spend a night in the woods, it means spend the night in the woods.
hey, man, sometimes you got to be a bear burrito
Sometimes you gotta just take that risk, man. You never know.
and hope for the best.
Yep.
Well, cool, Max. We've really enjoyed having you on. I think we've hit the first 3-hour limit. So,
Wow.
so we're gonna govern it. But I have a
Cool.
feeling that we're gonna talk again.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a feeling I'm gonna go home and be like, oh fuck, I want to talk about that. I'm gonna remember all the shit I wanted to talk about.
oh, really? We didn't get it out? No,
Well,
there's more. I know.
That's
There's
what I'm
more.
saying. There's more. It's just there's a lot of material here we can work with.
Super. Well, I look forward to it. And again, man, I appreciate your friendship and being included into the Arizona crew.
Absolutely,
A bit.
man. Yeah.
So,
Hey, the only criteria for our crew is you just got to be willing to push yourself and learn and all that. That's pretty much it.
yeah, well, we haven't backed off yet, and we
Yeah.
have left some tissue samples on some rocks. So,
Exactly.
the way it goes.
Yeah, we keep on learning. We call it either crash, or you either learn or you get better.
That's right. Well, excellent. Well, hey, thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you like what we're doing, please like, share, subscribe. You got us on the YouTube channel at Inside Enduro. You got us on Instagram at Inside Enduro. You have Facebook and then also InsideEnduro.com. So you like it, give us the hits, and we'll keep doing this, man. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. Thanks so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this. Like I said, I don't really talk about myself a lot in other places, so it's cool that we get to kind of dive in a little bit on here. And to anybody listening, if you want to reach out, feel free to reach out on me on my Instagram, just at Max Gerston, or Facebook, whatever. Just say what's up, Follow me. Don't follow me. I don't give a shit. But if you have a question for me, ask me, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for having me, dude.
The man, the myth, the legend, Max Gerston. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, dog.